Welcome to Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup. I'm your host, Jason Bland, and tonight we have psychic and empath and author Nancy Yearout. She's the author of A Guide to Angel Communication and Spiritual Laws, an angel's connection to God. She's communicates with the angels, but she doesn't want to do it for you. She wants to teach you how to do it. We're going to have her on tonight to talk about that, her new book. And, of course, lots of weird to get to in the World Wide Web of Weird. A lot of weirdness going on, as always. This world is just getting weirder as it starts and goes. And we're definitely got stuff to talk to. We're going to definitely talk about the Sean Ryan podcast. If you followed my Facebook page, I shared it. If you listen to it, then you'll kind of know what I'm talking about. But I'll keep it posted. It'll be the last story of the World Wide Web of Weird. And, of course, we will take your phone calls later in the show. We got a lot to get to, so let's go ahead and get rolling on into it. Welcome to another night of Paranormal Soup. As I said before, I'm your host, Jason Bland. Tonight's guest, Nancy Yearout, will be joining us after the World Wide Web of Weird, after our first commercial break. But joining me, as always, is my beautiful co-host, Jamie D. How you doing tonight, Jamie?
Doing well, thank you.
Glad to have you here. And, have you had any major drone sightings in California?
Nope.
Nothing you haven't seen? I've been hearing it all over in Michigan City. Everybody come to tell me they've seen something.
I think it's south.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But I'm north. I'm right on. Yeah. I don't know. I think people are looking up the skies and looking at everything with what's going on. And speaking of that, we do have, a lot to get to in this World Wide Web of Weird. So let's go ahead and roll into the World Wide Web of Weird. Tonight on the World Wide Web of Weird, first off to my radio audience on the internet radio channel lab. Sorry, I forgot to hit go live, so now you're just joining us. But you're joining us just in time, just a little late, not that bad, because it's the World Wide Web of Weird, and tonight We're going to start off with Jimmy Carter has passed away. Or did he before? I don't know. I have had many people reach out to me about the Mandela effect, and now that he's has officially passed, what was behind that? And it is brought up, this is one of the U.S. presidents that openly admitted to seeing a UFO. For those listening on the Paranormal Soup Radio Network, we are live now. Sorry about that. But, I didn't even change my camera. What am I doing? I am all over the place today. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because kids go back to school in the day. I don't know. But yes, Jimmy Carter has passed. And, there's Rob. Let me get him on. Hey, Rob, from St. Augustine, Florida. And you're muted.
How about now?
I hear you. So yes, Rob will get the share screen up there. While I'm doing that, I'll keep an eye out for it. All right. So yeah, former president had more than a passing interest in UFO phenomenon. Like many of the more recent U.S. presidents, Jimmy Carter died on December 29th at the grand old age of 100. Touched upon the subject of UFOs before and during his time in office. Remember, he saw one. He actually reported it. Let me get that stage. Thank you, Rob. And, and then there's the classic supposed urban legend story that when he made a promise running for president that he would help disclose everything, right? Like, get to the bottom of this UFO stuff and find out what's going on. We're going to get this stuff declassified, and then nothing happened. And the story goes that CIA director then, George Bush, shot him down, and he was seen actually weeping after whatever thing George Bush told him in a private meeting when he went to get him to tell him about aliens. It's always scared me, that idea, if that's true. What made Jimmy Carter cry, I don't care about politics or anything. The guy seemed like a good guy. He went out there and tried to build houses for poor people and stuff after he was president. What other president's doing that? I don't know. It's sad he's passed. And for the Mandela effect, for people reaching out to me, I know part of that, I think, comes from that we all expected him to die, and his wife passed away. Was a year or 2 years ago? How long has it been since his wife passed away?
Yeah, it's been a few years.
But I think a lot of people confused that with him in their memory, and there was a lot of hoopla about, political dumbness, whatever, at the funeral and stuff like that, people being stupid. And I think that led to some of it. But then again, I felt it. I thought he had died.
November 17, 2023, she went into
I knew it wasn't long ago.
Yeah.
Right. I knew it wasn't long, and I think that has something to do with it. But again, I am right there with everybody else. Every time I'd see a fake Jimmy Carter death post, I would make you think, didn't he already die? But it was actually a fake Jimmy Carter death post half the time. That probably helps contribute to the Mandela effect, too, is all the fake death posts. Why do people do that? Like, I had a question when I saw that Jimmy Carter died. I'm like, did he really die this time?
Yeah.
He's one of the most circulated hoaxes, too, out of them.
Right. I mean, it's because it's just all speculated. And why do people prank like that? What people get their jollies out of doing that, like posting that? I never understood
Making
that.
people for 3 seconds feel like, oh, no, what?
Clickbait. Sometimes it's clickbait to hack you. Some of those things, watch out. I never click on a death thing.
Terrible news about Willie Nelson.
I just do research on my own.
Works very much like our mainstream media. Okay, moving on. We got a dead Jimmy Carter. Well, on to dead things. Is the internet dead? Dead internet theory resurfaces, and I got this from Unexplained Mysteries, as Meta opens AI user floodgates. Oh, dang it. Come on now. Dead internet theory, which has been around for a few years now, is a controversial idea that the internet has been almost completely taken over by bots and AI users, and that most of the content and social media posts you read were not actually written by human beings. As AI becomes increasingly sophisticated, this concept certainly doesn't seem all that impossible, and we've already seen how easily AI-generated content can fool people into believing that it's the real deal. While it's difficult to imagine that the majority of the content on the internet is generated by AI, in the near future, the potential for this to become a reality is likely to increase exponentially. Such a future became all more likely recently when Meta, the company behind the social media giant Facebook and Instagram, revealed that it was working on a plan to enable its users to create AI characters and then that expected AI accounts to become commonplace in the near future. So you could make what is that? You make an AI account. Oh, I got to reshare it. Rob didn't. Oh, I didn't know Rob got kicked.
Probably the audio thing.
No, I hit the wrong button.
Oh.
I'm missing the sexy robot from the debrief here.
Error.
So basically, yeah, you could create an AI bot to do your social media posts, and you don't even have to engage anymore. What do we come to? Meta's not alone in doing this either. Other platforms also have similar plans. That means that given how sophisticated AI chatbots have already become, we could generally see a future in which large percentage of the content online has been generated by computers. Telling AI content apart from human content will become increasingly challenging. Whether this will mean the dead internet theory has actually come true, however, will likely remain a matter of debate. I've always thought the dead internet theory is just more of a prediction of where the internet's heading. You know, that everything's going to be generated by AI. I mean, definitely in our field, I think more and more of it's generated by AI than its actual evidence. I'm sorry.
For real.
It's just, we live in a land of illusion.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It's not just your social media. It's going to be your TV, your movies, and your news networks. They already tried it in China, where they have non-real news anchors. They're AI generated.
I swear there's like a Swiffer commercial or something that the people are AI. There's one for like Lunchables or something that the voice doesn't sound right. It's like something for 10. I'm like, that doesn't sound like a real kid. And like they look like fake characters.
I saw a commercial like that, and I was just like, this looks like this could have all been generated by AI. Like, the people look real. I get that. But all the scenes and the movement and the way the people look and the way it is, this commercial was for a drug company. I'm like, this looks like they're not even hiring actors anymore.
Okay, Progressive Flow. Well, I even looked it up. Did Progressive make Flow AI? Because there was a commercial. Everybody else looked normal, but Flo didn't seem like Flo in that scene. It was weird. Not even like she did it on her own, you know, for this.
It wasn't Flo's time of the month.
It was not her. And I'm like, that makes so much sense. They can just buy her likeness, whatever.
Well, that's already the big debate in Hollywood.
Right. And they don't have to, you know, they could pay her just for her likeness as a whole or per whatever. She doesn't have to do anything. They just insert her in.
Yeah. Heck, they don't even have to be creative. Hey, AI, come up with a good commercial for this drug, and we're going to run a bunch of and put the drug facts at the bottom in a very fast reel and say it really fast, but just put some happy people throwing some footballs and
everybody like all following like zombies together. Like, oh wait, what's going on?
I mean, you don't need a human to create that. Just tell AI, and it can do it for you. You don't need a filming location. You don't need actors. You don't need a script. You don't need nothing. No. The AI can literally make your stupid drug commercial.
Everything.
Yeah.
That's where we're headed. Like South Park did a whole episode on AI through AI. I think it was them or somebody else.
All right, we'll move on from that though. But yeah, is the internet dead? It's on its way. This one freaks my wife out and freaks me out. I was always like, I don't know, horror fan, you know, The Mist, The Fog, all those movies. Well, everybody's lately talking about the mysterious fog. This is Unexplained Mysteries article on it, but there's plenty of different ones. Mysterious fog sparks conspiracy theories as it sweeps across the United States. Did I not get there it is. I had the original article I think was Daily Mail here. I like, you know, they got the bacteria or something in it. Something strange has been hanging in the air over the last few days. That is, at least according to a swath of reports of peculiar fog, seemingly unusual properties have been cited in multiple U.S. states, including parts of Texas, Wisconsin, Iowa, Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, North Dakota, Florida, and Minnesota. Some witnesses complained that the fog had triggered respiratory symptoms and was accompanied by a burning and chemical-like smell. That left them feeling nauseous. Within about an hour, I kept sneezing over and over for about 3 hours, and my eyes were really puffy, said one woman who had encountered the fog while filling her car with gas in Florida. I would love to know where in Florida. Big state. I've got very warm. I felt like I had a fever, and my stomach was cramping. Similar experience was reported in California and Kansas. Here in SoCal, unusual fog the last few days, wrote one resident. Strange smells, but I've been noticing the smell for months now. Burns my nose. Seems like an all-out assault from the skies for the last few days. The phenomenon quickly went viral on social media with thousands of users suggesting the fog could be something sinister, such as secretive government experiments. Incredibly, something like this actually did happen in 1950 when a project known as Operation Sea Spray saw large amounts of bacteria being intentionally sprayed over San Francisco area to determine how vulnerable U.S. cities were to biological weapons. Like I said, we always have history to back us up on these things. When you call us conspiracy theories, we have history. That said, it's extremely unlikely that anything like this is going on here. Okay. Instead, in all likelihood, the fog is a little more than a natural phenomenon that has been blown out of the proportion by propagation of conspiracy theories in social media. That's Unexplained Mysteries turn on it there and Daily Mail's. My thing is, I got history to back me up
And I'm
for my
sick
reason
from it.
to be conspiracy
Sure.
theorist. What are you saying?
All my animals' eyes are watering.
Oh
Our
no,
eyes
no,
are watering.
dude.
We're like sick
I mean,
of this stuff.
dude, when he says the sneezing fit, I had that too, and I swear I could smell it in the air. Like I don't see fog. I
Almost
haven't
like a
seen fog,
glue to me. Like it's
but
almost like this weird adhesive smell I'm smelling.
it's a sweeter smell to me, and I smell it, and it burns my sinuses. Maybe that's just the air and the temperature changes that have been happening, and sinuses. But you hear me? I'm still. What is this? What, a month?
Mhm.
Like back and forth with sinus, and my sinuses are constantly irritated. And like I told my wife, I smell it in the air. I have a good nose, man. And I smell something in the air. It's like a sweet smell that I don't. It immediately, immediately irritates my sinuses. It's the
Totally.
alien drones or the military complex drones farting in the air. I don't know.
Yeah.
You get like
Alien
that.
drone exhaust.
Yeah.
What?
So, but I love how they tell you this, that, oh, yeah, our government did that. But you're all a bunch of conspiracy theorists. No, we have history to back us up for us to ask these questions. So screw you. But I like unexplained mysteries.
We have
It's all
common
right.
sense and like
Yeah.
see what's happening to back it up.
All right, let's move on. Now we're on to some UFO stuff, and I find this one interesting because we've talked about it. I remember what Gus said she actually rode in the Turkey UFO, but there's a infamous UFO in Turkey where you can almost see the aliens moving inside the window and has a weird shape. Well, there's another Christmas Eve UFO that happened in Turkey that seems very similar to this. I mean, it's not as great, but it feels like that shape of that craft, and like if they zoomed in some more, you'd see the aliens in the window like you did the other one. I don't know. Fascinating UFO video said to be recorded in Turkey on December 24th, 2024 shows a strange multicolored aerial object seen over a freeway. UFO investigator Scott Waring writes that the lights change formation do not confirm to any known aircraft lights. One YouTube poster compared the craft to what was seen during the 2007-2009 Kumburgaz Turkey UFO flap, and that's where I think that one got filmed, or you could almost see in the window, right? All right, so go ahead and play this. You can hear the audio of the people in Turkey. The cars going by and all that. It's the audio here for the radio audience. For the radio audience, if you go later to check this out, go watch the show later. We have our YouTube archive. Please follow and subscribe to see this or get this. I'm trying to remember where you get this from. Coast to Coast has it in an article, but the shape of it, even though you can't zoom in and see it like you did the other Turkey one, the shape of it seems very familiar. Like when you zoom in here, almost remember that one? Do you remember the Turkey UFO where you could see the aliens in the window, kind of like that, and the way it had like kind of this slanted shape to it like that? It just reminds me of the other Turkey one. You can see like almost windows and lights.
Why is it so bad to see that?
It's shaky because this guy's on a car filming it from a cell phone, and I'm zoomed in trying to get a better look at it. That's why it's got really shaky.
Oh, because you're zoomed in, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Other
I'm
than
trying to
they
keep it.
just
I'm
be
trying to keep it in
propped up
frame. I even slowed it down. Yeah, I even slowed it down, but it's hard to see. But I wanted to get it zoomed in because you could see almost windows, like sectional windows. See it?
It does look like lit up windows.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like the other Turkey one, is they had a window, and you could actually almost see the little alien moving in it. Who was that guest that said they flew on that UFO? They were there. I don't remember. Is it Nancy Thames? I can't remember. All right, let's move on to some more UFO beam footage. But I think that's interesting. I mean, we talk about all this, the drones, military drones. We're going to get to that here in the last article. But there are definitely UFO sightings. That, to me, would not be a military drone thing going on. That looks like some kind of alien craft. But maybe it is. Maybe it is military. We got more of that. But we got this next one. Another one not in America, in Brazil. Intriguing piece of footage out of Brazil shows a strange illuminated triangle UFO floating over a city, and some suspect this eerie anomaly could be some kind of a secret craft. Remarkable video was reportedly filmed last week by a witness in a park in the city of Curitiba. I don't know if I got that right, probably not. In the footage seen, the UFO initially appears to be a large glowing ball of light. However, when the witness zooms in on the iris, one can see that it is comprised of 5 lights in a triangle formation, which seem to be a sizable illumination at the center. All right, go ahead and play it. I mean, again, drone, triangle, UFO. If it's a drone, that's a huge one, right?
Yeah.
To me, that looks way up there. You can see the clouds. It's above some of the clouds
It
there, man.
looks like a one of our military, like it looks like a UFO or one of those. I can't think of the name of it right now, but it looks like a triangle UFO.
TR3B.
But yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
C3PO.
Our government reverse engineered triangle shaped UFO. I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much. Seems like
Yeah.
it could be.
Yeah, but I mean that's more as a stereotypical triangle UFO you could get. As many have witnessed
Did it
and
make a
drawn.
noise
I've
or
seen
no?
pictures drawn. I've seen pictures of the triangle UFO from witnesses that look exactly like that. Same amount of lights, same big light in the middle. I've seen it from thousands of witnesses report the same exact thing. So to me, that's a UFO, not a drone.
And did it make
To me,
a
I
noise?
think that's a ship. No. No noise. To me, that's a ship, not a drone. But it could be a drone trying to look like a UFO.
I don't think that's a drone, no matter what. I think that's either
Right.
a military stealth type aircraft.
Well, when I'm saying drones right now,
Or
we're
you-
talking about the military stuff. I'm not going to cover the stuff I
Yeah.
think is somebody's, they're hobbyists.
No, we're
playing
talking
around,
about
you
these
know.
like car size.
When I say drones tonight, I am talking about military drones
mini
tonight. Like,
helicopters.
and we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that.
I've seen
All
a lot
right.
of drones.
Yeah,
I don't know any drones that I've seen that don't make noise because they're
Right.
propelled by propellers, which are gonna make noise.
It's like that
Sounds
one I
like
showed a couple
fun
weeks ago. I'm like, that's a drone. Why? Because we can hear in the video.
Yeah, you hear that.
You know?
You
Yeah.
know?
You could hear it. All right, let's move on to this one here. I'm gonna I can read the full article, but I find this interesting. They're commenting. Joe Rogan made this comment recently that Trump's too cagey to release UFO files to the public, and he's talking about they did that infamous interview that some other psychic predicted many years ago, which is weird. I don't know, get my brain around that one, right?
Yeah.
but in that psychic said we'd have an alien invasion right after, and well, I don't know, man. Anyways, he says he's too cagey for UFOs, and I'm right there with Joe Rogan on that. Again, he never answered the question straight in there. Joe Rogan is saying in this latest interview he has very, very low doubts that he's going to help getting information. He doesn't seem to have much interest in it, is what Joe Rogan says, and that's what I've said. Like, he's done so. There's a couple of times he showed some interest, like he wanted to talk about it, and other times he's just like, he does that little face thing. It pisses me off every time he freaking
I
does
don't
it.
think it's the top of his priorities as far as what
I know
he
it's
wants
not.
to accomplish.
Make America
Yeah.
great again. Go for it, bud. But you know what? If we're under a threat and you got a military industrial complex that's working behind your back and a whole spy intelligence agency is working behind your back, that might be what's going on. You should take some interest.
Yeah, or if they're
But he might
lying
have some
to
now.
us, let us
I
hear the
think-
truth.
I think there's interest. I think there's been interest in past presidents, Carter, Clinton, Nixon, but at the same time, I think somebody's telling them to shut the hell up.
Yeah, I think Nixon screwed it for all the presidents after showing Jackie Gleason a couple dead alien bodies.
mean,
I think that
that's
screwed it for all the presidents.
Imagine that. And, like, dude, the president just picked me up and took me to see aliens. I mean, that's got to
Right?
be like a lifetime rememberer.
Yeah. Paul Blake Smith, by the way, great book on that. Jackie Gleason and Richard Nixon. You should check it out if you're ever interested in that historical topic. That's a great book on it. You should definitely read it. We should get Paul back on the show.
But there's been several presidents that go to talk about, I'm going to release UFO files, but then they never do. Why?
Yeah. But, he doesn't make me, like, at least they lie to her face and try to make it look like it. He's the honest liar, right? He just kind of goes,
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, sure. We're gonna disclose everything. I'm not really, I'm not into it though. We'll see. I just don't have much hope for that. I really don't. I mean, some of the other Republicans like Tim Burchett, who I do like, has some high hopes for Trump to actually release this stuff. I seen him talking to Third Phase of the Moon. They were really I love Tim Burchett. He's talking to these people that have been doing UFO channels that no other politician would have touched or talked to in a long time.
Yeah.
And now they are. And Tim Burchett was very open to talk to them. I think that's awesome. Third Phase of the Moon, check it out. But he has this high hopes. He says nothing's going to happen now, but Trump gets into office. I think we're going to get a lot more. I have my doubts, but maybe.
He seemed to have more interest before, but I think all of a sudden with the different things that we're dealing with, it's like you have to like pick and choose what you're gonna.
I get that, but
Probably trying not to get killed.
let me move on to this
Yeah.
next article. Why he should be interested. On to what
Okay.
I said there about. So we had the whole car bombing on January 1st with the Cybertruck. I don't have a lot of time. I can't read all this article, but I hope some of you guys are familiar with what this happened in Las Vegas. Only one dead, and that was supposedly the guy who blew it up, Matthew Liebenberger, former Green Beret. Details around this Cybertruck, and I got this I had to get this off of like the internet, like articles don't cover this right. I've not found very many, and this one gets some of it straight. Details around surrounding Cybertruck bomber Matthew Liebenberger continue to drip with 2 manifesto letters, and this is a little old now. Found the Cybertruck itself in another manifesto email to Navy SEAL Sam Showmate. In letters found in the Cybertruck, Liebenberger described the USA as a terminally ill and said his actions were meant as a wake-up call and not a terrorist attack. Again, it really was a fireworks display, not a car bomb. This person definitely wanted to get people's attention, but not kill anybody. And the only body found supposedly is his. We'll get to that. Showmate shared the email on Sean Ryan's show, writing on X, I knew taking this public would insert me into the Gloy Boy conspiracy cycle. Especially since I'm an intelligence officer. Adding, I had no choice. Dude dumped me in my inbox. When I saw his name in the news, I had little choice but to hand it over to the feds. I knew the FBI would release it, or at least without an agenda attached, so I took it to Sean Ryan because he has the platform to handle the magnitude of this information and will do objectively as possible. I'm glad he did that. I'm glad he gave it to Sean Ryan. I don't give it to somebody. Don't let the FBI cover it all up. Thank you. I will say this to Showmate. Now, Showmate, though. All right, so if you watch the internet, Showmate says a number of things about this, that he looked into this, talked to other Green Berets, and now family members and people are like, this guy was not unstable. Now Showmate's turn around after that interview with Sean Ryan saying, oh, well, now I've learned he was on some meds and he just came off of it days before this incident. Well, I'll tell you what, this was all pre-planned, like way more than just in a couple days. So it wasn't just flipping off his meds. And Showmate, it's great that you released this, but him turning like this makes me wonder on this whole subject in this story, because just saying, oh, well, he was on psychic, so he is crazy and we can't really take what he said, because what he says about the drones here is what we've been seeing are the drones is the operation use of gravitic propulsion systems and gravitic propulsion systems. And Sean Ryan and this guy are like, we don't know what that is. We had to look it up. I'm like, we could only find it in sci-fi stuff. Yeah, because your government's hidden it forever. Welcome to the party, pals. Welcome to the party, Sean Ryan. Because, you know what, we've been talking about this stuff for ages. Bob Lazar has been telling you about it for ages. If he's lying or not, I don't know, but I think something he has knowledge of. People all over told us about this stuff for ages. So this guy's trying to tell us, former Green Beret, is he nuts? That's what Showmate is now trying to say, is that he just came off his meds and, he was kicked out of his house. He also exposes 2 war crimes. We have many. By the U.S. government that he was in operations he was involved in. And he also says that they tried to pick him up. I'm summarizing. I'm sorry. You can go find the whole manifesto. And then there's the FBI's released manifesto. Do you trust that? Where he's now he's a total Trumpster, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like he loves Trump and all that stuff. And the manifesto he sent to there's nothing about Trump or anything in there. It's all about we are in danger because he says China and the U.S. are the only 2 that have this alien technology. And he doesn't say alien, but when you say gravitic propulsion systems of he uses a term, but it means alien, basically, is what he's saying. What does he use? I wish I had the full manifesto in front of me right now, but that term, he's talking about aliens. So only us and China have the UFOs. China probably stole it from us, email servers, Clinton. Stole that technology for us, and now have developed it. And we've been putting our alien technology drones over other countries like Russia and China probably for years, and that's what he implies. And now China has their own, and I think they're doing it to us. And I think that's what he's implying. He's saying all these drones are coming from China off the ocean. China! I don't know if I believe that story. I'm not going to buy his story just because he says that, but there's something to this. What he's saying is that these things could launch a nuclear missile without any warning or strike. It's first strike capabilities here, people. We are in the middle of World War III is what he's trying to warn us about. And we don't know how serious and how close to midnight we are on the doomsday clock is what the wake-up call is. And I don't think this dude's Sean Ryan doesn't think this dude's dead. Now Showmate thinks he's dead and he was crazy. But they make a good proposition. This is a Cybertruck. You can self-drive it. It could have drove himself up. There was no signature. There's gun monitors around there. He shot himself with a Desert Eagle, very large gun.
Yeah, that's a.
If you are going to
50
shoot
pound-
yourself, right? You're going to shoot yourself. You want to make sure you're dead. That's the gun.
That's the
So
gun.
that makes it sound like he might have wanted to kill himself. But listen, they didn't get any gunshot sound signatures that should have happened right before that explosion, according to the reports from the police there. That he, so how did he shoot himself? Or did he shoot himself somewhere else and then have the car drive his dead body up there and then explode? That's possible. But what if he said somebody tried to grab him in this manifesto letter? He said somebody tried to grab him because of the information he knows about these 2 war crimes and other information, and he thinks they're trying to pull him in now because he got kicked out of his house. Maybe he's unstable. They're worried about him, so they're trying to pull him in. So maybe one of these people they sent after him is the body in that car. And now this man has faked his own death and moved on out. Or he did blow him. He was crazy and blew himself up. Either way, he drew attention. He got the word out, and luckily he didn't kill anybody else. That's the end of the World Wide Web of Weird. Keep your eyes to the skies, people. For aliens or military drones, things are getting weirder and scarier. With this story, I was very much scared. I don't know if any of it's true. Sean Ryan's being criticized, and Showmate's being criticized. I don't have any criticism for him, really, except for Showmate kind of having a different direction now. But that, we'll have to wait and see if they find information. We're probably, the funny thing is we know more about this guy now already within days than we do know about the Trump assassin. I agree with that
Our
perspective.
military has been stationed along the East Coast for like a couple of weeks
Right.
now.
We've been on high
along
alert.
the
We've been on high
coast.
alert. The balloon thing was the first stage of that with China on that. Again, I don't want to be one of those people like China, World War III, doomsday, because I think we can find a way to get along with everyone in some way. I don't want to make China out to be the big evil. I don't like their government at all, but I'm not going to go with the warmongers. This could be a whole setup for war in itself. I don't trust no one. That's it for the World Wide Web. We're already running late. Our guest is Nancy Yearout, author of A Guide to Angel Communication and Spiritual Law, an angel's connection to God. After this short commercial break, we'll bring our guest on, and then later in the show, we'll take your phone calls. All right, guys, we'll be right back.
You were brought here for one purpose, necromancy.
A ceremony dating back to the pre-Christian era. It's the art of reviving the dead. It requires involvement with evil spirits by the person performing the act.
The devil god brings life to the dead.
No, please. No, please.
And death to the living. Necromancy, starring Orson Welles and Pamela Franklin. From Cinerama releasing. In color, rated PG, parental guidance suggested.
If you are interested in discovering the truth about the paranormal and want to hear from leading researchers in the field, join Justin Brown on his 3 weekly shows named My Paranormal Soapbox, Necromancer Live Show, and the Supernatural Symposium, live on Facebook, YouTube, and InterfaceDeath.net.
He is conducting an experiment into the combined effects of sensory deprivation.
Switch to DCS ranging.
240, nominal to profile.
We're in the pipe. 5 by 5.
Tonight on Paranormal Soup, our guest is Nancy Yearout. Nancy Yearout is a psychic empath. She has claircognizance, clear knowing, clairsentience, clear physical feeling, clairsalience, clear smelling, and some clairvoyance, clear seeing. As a light worker, she's for the divine source. She aspires to bring forth love and light to the world with a voice and words of wisdom. Her goal is to teach everyone how to connect to the source energy and to their own guardian angel. She teaches spiritual law so everyone knows how the universal energy flows. She's also a public speaker appearing at events in 2024, teaching angel communication and spiritual law. We're going to talk about that tonight in your angel guys. She's not here to talk to the angels for you. She's here to teach you how to do it yourself. We all have a guardian angel, is what many believe. I don't have a Judeo-Christian perspective or anything like that, but I believe I have a guardian angel. I believe I've seen her before. Nobody I know, whatever, but I think she's been with me. I've had a couple of those experiences. Have you? I want to hear tonight, later, when we open up the lines. You guys call tonight. Do you think you know who your guardian angel is or had experience with guardian angels? Let's have some guardian angel stories tonight. But our guest is Nancy Yearout, guide to angel communication and spiritual laws and angels' connection to God. Tonight, let's go ahead and get to our guest. Sorry, I cut the commercial break short because we ran so late on the World Wide Web. I knew we would because of that story. I should have just, like I did the other night, Sunday, we just covered one story because that one, there's a lot more to talk about. Our guest tonight, Nancy Yearout. Sorry for the delay. I'm glad you're here.
Hey, Jason, how are you?
It's an honor to have you on. I'm doing good. Tonight, we're going to talk about your book, A Guide to Angel Communication and Spiritual Law, and Angel's Connection to God. I want to get into your psychic and empath. You have these different abilities, but where did this all begin for you?
Oh, gosh. Well, I've always had a thing about angels, even when I was a little kid, I always wanted to be an angel, and what kid wants to be an angel, right? So, time passed, and I've always been psychic. I've always been intuitive. But as my gifts evolved, I started to realize that I was able to communicate with my guardian angel, and she stands right next to me. And then I realized, everybody can do this. And it's my job, I think, to connect everybody to spirit, connect everybody to the earth energies and to their guardian angel, because we're at a really crazy time. And, your guardian angel's been with you from birth. And so your guardian angel has your back.
And I think a lot of people know that. For me, I think some people look at the guardian angel thing as a religious thing. Like, well, you have to be Christian to believe in angels or anything like that. What's your thoughts? I mean, for me, I'm not a Christian, but I believe there's something to the idea of angels.
Well, I grew up in the Church of Christ and really was disillusioned by organized religion.
Right.
And so I've studied, Buddhism. I've studied all different types of religion. I think, I'm a seeker, looking for the truth. And what I realized is we are energetic beings. We have, we are full of energy, and we also have these energetic beings that are with us. But it's our job to acknowledge that we have free will. Okay. And so they can be with us our whole entire life. But unless we acknowledge them, they really, cannot, they can nudge us and they can give us signs, and we can see 11:11 and we can see 22:22, and we can realize that they're guiding us, down our path. But it's nice to be able to say, hey, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? And they answer you telepathically, and it's really quick communication, and it's very easy to do. I think we all communicated with the divine and with our guardian angels, many years ago. I think we've lost it. And I think we're bringing it back as we raise our vibration. Yeah.
I think I see it. There's people, it's like we're in this flux state. Like we have people that I see as really getting more interested in the idea of being spiritual. Mm-hmm. And opening up the idea of psychic activity or communication with the past loved ones. More people opening up to this, and not just, think about it. I mean, I'm 45. I think back to 20 years ago, and you'd get laughed at for some of the things that are now more public or more acceptable for people to talk about. But at the same time, I see more people too. It seems like they're just total zombies. Like they've checked out. You know, they're just going through the motions of life. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
They're drained. There's no self-reflection. There's no spiritual anything going on.
Jason, they're checked out because they're not connected. You got to realize we are these energetic beings with these energetic, centers, right? We have chakras. Okay. Now, source, our creator, is energy. It's the highest frequency is love. It's the love vibration. Okay. So when we connect to that love vibration and we bring in that energy, it fills us up. So what we're looking for material wise on the outside is not important anymore. What we realize is what's important is on the inside, correct? You see what I mean? So we don't look for other people to make us happy. We don't look for material things to make us happy. We have, that divine energy, that divine love that comes in when you bring in, people call it the Holy Spirit. Okay. So you're bringing in a holy energy, a high frequency. And when you do that, it not only balances you, it brings you're more joyful. You're centered. You can watch all the craziness go on in the world, but you're an observer. You're balanced. You're watching it. But it's not affecting you energetically because you're connected. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It can affect you. The crazy world can affect you, though, in ways you can be all energetic you want, but when it affects your job or your life, you're in a little trouble.
Well, yeah, but you're not so reactive.
Right.
Okay.
Reactive. That's a good way to,
right.
That's the problem I see. People are there's no inner reflection. They're just reacting to the next drama, the next play.
Exactly,
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You pause. You actually have that moment to go, and look at it in a different way. Like I said, you become more of an observer instead of a participant in the craziness that's going on.
Right.
And you relate to people differently. After you connect, that's why I teach in the book, connect to God, spirit, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call it. Then you connect to the earth energies because we've lost that as well. And, that's very healing energy. So whether you go outside and take your shoes off or whether you visualize, yourself grounding, you have to be here. You've got to be present on the earth. A lot of people don't want to be here. So they're not grounded. So it's really important that you're grounded and you're in your body and you're actually here and you're present. So those are the first two things I teach. And then after that, of course, connecting to your guardian angel.
I like that. They don't want to be here because that's what it's like. Like I said,
I don't want to be here sometimes.
Yeah, right. I get the feeling. Like I don't judge them. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not their judge. I understand it why they checked out. Right. But at the same time, it drives me nuts because it's so sad. Like I am not perfect at all. Of course, nobody is. And but I've come to realize what's important to me is my wife, my kids, my family, my time with them. Like we're only on this planet for a limited amount of time, and this experience with them is only gonna be once. Maybe we'll have other experiences with them in other lives. I believe in that. And we've had other experiences with them, but this moment, this time, this is it. Like enjoy it and enjoy being with your family and friends, and don't let any of the other crud screw that up for you.
Right.
Well, don't let it get to you.
Yeah, we're down here to learn, and you have to look at it like that. Everything's a learning experience. Instead of thinking things are happening to you, you have to realize things are happening for you so that you are learning and you're elevating your own soul so you can reach that next level.
And, sir, I think what I think is, people are waking up to, in a sense, in the society, is that, everything that they've told us over the last, I don't know, couple hundred years of modern civilization, religious dogma, science, all these things aren't quite adding up for everybody.
Right.
So I think this is why we are seeing like kind of an awakening. We are seeing more people opening up, and even in the UFO field, if you heard what I was talking about before.
Yeah. Well, I'm in Connecticut.
People's eyes are opening.
So I'm watching the orbs.
Yeah, really?
Oh, my God. Well, yeah, my daughter and I, she started watching them a couple months ago. This started back in November, where we started to see orbs and we started to see the drones. And the orbs changed color, and she started filming them. And now she's painting them.
Good girl.
She's painting their energy, which is kind of bizarre, but it's kind of cool.
Oh.
She's doing it. And they're all, they're all in these different symmetrical shapes. This is all, and it's quite interesting. But anyway, it's been going on for a while here, and now it's become like the norm.
I was telling Jamie, I was asking her if it's happening in California because I keep having people. I'm here up there in Michigan City, Indiana. I'm way north. A lot of stuff seems to be south more or East Coast.
Yeah,
but I got people all the time now telling me, I saw this thing. I'm like, wow. I'm not seeing nothing. I'm not saying they're not.
It's every day we have them. You're driving down the road, they'll be right.
It's too cold for me to stand outside and watch, though. That's the thing. On the summertime, I will go out and stand outside and watch the night sky. On wintertime, I'm sorry. Okay, aliens, you're going to have to come in the summer, man.
Well,
I don't like the cold.
I'll tell you my philosophy on this one. I told it on my show because I do a podcast too. And Jason, I think the orbs are here to protect the Earth. I really believe that.
I have a fascination with the orb phenomenon, like
I
UFO
think they're
orb.
here. Yeah, I think they're here to protect us. I believe the drones are observing the orbs because they don't know what they are.
That was one of my theories. It is one of my theories, and also, I mean, if there's something, okay, I know we're getting off the angel topic. We're going to get into that. I'm so sorry. So sorry. But I want to say one of the things I thought too, the drones, and some of them are like obvious drones, but high quality, not your normal hobbyist drones, but they're obvious drones. And then there's the orbs of energy. Like we showed some coming right out of the ocean. Now is this the extraterrestrial technology China has, U.S. has, that we were talking about before? Maybe. But at the same time, we're so close to World War III, okay? Yeah. And we're and we have drones that have like nukes on them or things that are dangerous that aliens have always been interested in. Maybe they're trying to warn people and they're doing a massive sighting. And our government, the way to throw us off is to throw up a bunch of military drones and have the media keep telling you drones, drones, drones.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely tell you that the ETs are not going to let anything like that happen.
I've had many guests tell me that.
Yeah, they're not going to let anything like that happen because anything we do here affects the whole universe. So, they're definitely not going to let anything happen. That's why they're really paying attention, I think, to what's going on. I think they're sending us good energy. I think they're helping us raise the vibration. That's what I
hope so. We need some help. It seems like
I noticed them around when we have the really weird weather phenomena, like the atmospheric condition of weather and things like that. I see them, what seems to be like them darting in and out and kind of sitting there when it's happening. And I just have that feeling that they're watching this weather, like, what is going on? What are you guys doing?
Well, because they're manipulating the weather. And we've had that too, where all of a sudden it was fog. And we had fog for days. And my feeling on this is that there is a war going on between good and evil. And I think the war is going on and they don't want us to see it. And so the fog came across the United States, so we couldn't see what was happening. That's what I think on this one.
They're hiding something back there, I think.
They're always hiding something. That's not a question.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, let's get back to angels, though. So, first, what is an angel? We can get into the guardian angel, but first off, what in your idea, what you've communicated, what you're being told, what are angels?
Well, let me just say, everything I just said to you came from my angel. All the information that I've obtained comes from my angel. So she is at a really high frequency and I'm able to ask her questions. We all have a guardian angel. It started out, I worked with Archangel Michael. I'll tell you a quick story. Yeah. I started my first podcast. I had written a book called Wake Up, the Universe is Speaking to You. I was learning about energy. I was like meditating every day. I was bringing in the light, all of a sudden I had a landline at the time, right? And so my phone rang and it said Tibet. And I thought, Tibet. And so I answered it just because it said Tibet.
Like the country?
Yeah, exactly. And so this monk is on the phone and he says, this is so-and-so. I'm a monk. I was meditating. Archangel Michael said to call you. He gave me this number. Do you have crystals around you? And I'm like, yeah. And he's
like, wait, hold on.
Yeah, check this
I want to make sure we're clear on this. So a Tibetan monk you've never met, never talked to.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Get your phone number.
Right. As he's meditating.
From Archangel Michael while he's meditating and calls you right after.
Yeah. And he's irritated. He's so irritated. I've interrupted his meditation and he's irritated that he is told to call me, but he has to do it because you can't not do it. Right. And he's
Right.
like, well, your messages, you're going to write a couple more books. And I can't even remember everything he said, but he just wanted to let me know that, I'm being watched over and, that I do have this connection. And then he hung
Is your
up.
phone number very public?
No, it was a
That's what I
landline.
assumed.
Yeah, it was a landline.
You said landline.
Yeah, I don't have it anymore, but isn't that crazy? So that was like my first really weird. I'm like, okay.
That is weird.
Yeah, and then I started working with Archangel Michael to protect myself because the more I connected, the lighter I became, and the more the dark likes to come in, and I had to learn how to, do all of that. So that it's been an evolvement. It's been a process. Then I started to bring in Archangel Gabriel for messages for myself. I had gone through a divorce. It was really tough. And then I started to bring in messages for humanity. And that's what you see in this book. At the end, I do messages for humanity from Gabriel.
Oh, 1 second. I got to make sure I get the book cover in here. Rob, while you're still here, we can show the book cover. I forgot to put it. I think I forgot. Allow pages.
I've been posting links to the book.
Jamie, I put the link to her website in the Facebook. I forgot to put it in there too. That's in
Oh,
there.
is it? Okay.
Room. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm off my game tonight. I apologize, Nancy.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
It's the fog sickness, and now your book has like disappeared from my thing. That's weird.
Well, anyway, I put this
is.
book together because I want to teach people how to connect. So, they can call me and get an angel reading, and my angel can give you all the information, but y'all have one. And, they all would like for you to connect. There are angels that. Well, yeah, because there's angels that you can call on if you're going on a trip, and you can call the trip angels and say, I want everything to go smoothly and all the reservations to go well. Or you can call on the business angels. There's thousands of angels, but we have free will and we have to ask. That's really the key to this whole thing. And so if you'd like, I can teach y'all how to connect with your angel tonight. Would you like to do that?
Definitely.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we all have an angel next to us, but we want to say, we have to be specific with our words. We have to say, I would like to acknowledge my angel who is holy and divine. Okay. So when you do that, you can say right now, I'd like to acknowledge my angel who is holy and divine.
Okay, hold on. I'd like to acknowledge my angel who is holy and divine.
Okay. And you'd like to ask your angel's name. Now, before you do it, what I want to tell you is when you ask their name, it's going to be the first thing that comes into your head. You won't have time to think. You won't have time to think.
You really don't know my brain.
I know. You don't have time to think. So you're going to ask, I'm asking my guardian angel, what is your name? And then just listen. So go ahead.
Oh, dear God. I'm asking my guardian angel, what is her name? I got Delilah.
That's her name. There you go.
It makes sense. I mean, okay, so let me tell you this. Can I tell you this?
Sure.
Gavin is great. I love him. He sends me always talking points, and I never follow him. We just have a conversation.
I don't either, right? I love Gavin, too.
I like to share experiences. So I've seen this older black woman in some dreams. One was a past life dream where she was my mother.
Okay.
That came later. When I first dreamt of her, I was in a very tumultuous time. This is before my shadow person experience. That's a whole other thing, one of my teenage years. But it was like, I was like 15 or 16. I was a really confused kid. But great parents, nothing to do with them. It was just me and my stupidness. I made past life stuff. I remember having this dream where I was like in this, like on a track field thing, and I was running with all these people, the kids I went to school with at the time and all this stuff, and this big hurricane thing comes up, and like, I'm in Indiana, there's no hurricanes. But it comes up and like whips us all up in the air, and it's crazy, it's weird. But I end up in this mall. It looked kind of like my mall, but there's this black old woman there. And she shows me, she's sitting there, like it's all telepathic, but she shows me a future. And it ain't a good future for me. It's a future where I die. And from drugs.
Oh, wow.
And it's just, she's really sad. And it scared me. I woke up scared. And I've not been innocent. I've done stupid things as a teenager. And at that time, I was doing a lot of stupid things. And that dream was honestly very personal. And I didn't tell I've not told many people this dream over the years, very few. changed me at that time. It made me scared because I saw my own death in this dream. And I worded it off as a dream, but I'm like, that it was drug related. I actually saw a girl became my future girlfriend. Like in it, she had long after later was my girlfriend. So I was a teenager in high school. It was my senior year. That's when it was. And the girl I ended up thinking I was my date ended up dating. So I'm like, all that came true. And none of that came true. That's one of the things I think I changed, maybe seeing the future. Later on, I had a past life dream, and then I see that she's my mother in the past life. I was a little black slave girl, and I get beaten to death by my biological slave master father. I'm trying to make this quick. And she's my mother in it. Okay? So, and I've had another past life dream, but it's like, my question is she my guardian angel? Because I've had other dreams of her, this black woman. It's the same woman.
Let me ask my angel. Is that his... Haley, is that his guardian angel? No, she's a guide.
A guide.
She's a guide. She's a guide. She's been with you in many lifetimes. She loves you dearly. She's with you all the time. You can work with her. You can ask her anything. She's with you, just like an angel would be with you. She's with you. Yeah. But she's a guide.
Well, I wonder if that's her name. When you ask me for that, you say, because I don't know. I mean, that's who I was picturing in my mind when that name came out.
Okay, well, you have to be, and this is why I say you have to be specific.
Right.
First of all, you don't want to call anything in, okay?
True.
So every time you do this, every time you have to say, my angel who's holy and divine, what about this or what about that? I ask her specifically because you don't want to get flip about it and say, oh, well, what do you think about this? Well, who do you think you're asking at that point?
Right.
So you have to ask your angel, just like you were asking, I was speaking to you, you have to speak to them because they're here and you have to be specific. Yeah.
I get that. that.
Mm-hmm.
So are your guardian angels, because the reason I was asking, getting at that, because I've always felt like, this is definitely somebody I lived a past life before that I've seen in dreams.
Yeah.
That must be here and have interest in me, but she's like a guide. Because our guardian angels, were they ever human? I guess is the point I'm getting to.
Personally, I think yes. This is my opinion. I'll ask my angel. I've never asked her that, actually.
Really? All this time?
I've never asked her that. Well, because, that's a whole other story, but hold on. Have there been, or people have been human, become angels? Can you become an angel? Yes. Yes, I thought so. I kind of knew already that you could do it.
I mean, biblically, Metatron.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, Metatron. Yeah.
Metatron. Was
Ezekiel. I wasn't not
Ezekiel.
Ezekiel. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
or Enoch. Was it Enoch or Ezekiel?
Enoch. Yeah, but they have higher frequencies. The angels do than your guides, so they're a little bit different. What was your question? I'm sorry, I forgot.
That was my question. Can angels be or can your guardian angel be somebody that had lived a former life as a human and now is just a spiritual guide to you?
Also know that there are angels in human bodies here. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, I've heard that. I'm also a Supernatural fan, by the way, which elaborates to all that too, right? TV show. My son's named Dean, But I always thought that would be a possibility because, in the Bible, they don't talk about them having wings or anything. They talk about people. They think they're people, beautiful people or mysterious people, but they're people. They don't have wings and they show up, And
they have these, and there you go. And so there's a lot of us here right now who are on the planet helping to raise the vibration. And so we have come for a reason and we've come to help other people. And there's a lot of people that are doing it right now. There's a lot of people who are angelic that came in as humans, who have angelic souls, who have a higher vibration, who don't feel like they belong here. And that's why they feel like they don't belong here.
Well, in a sense too, we've had so many guests on this subject, that, you'll get into reincarnation, that we eternal beings, maybe, all this stuff that not only the possibility that some of these people are angels, but you have the starseed, you have people that are possibly alien presences living now human experiences.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And everybody's here, to learn. You're not just here to help humanity. You're also here to elevate your own soul. It's a twofold, So when you're here, you're learning because you can't learn when you're in the etheric body. You can only learn when you're in like a physical body, because then you have emotions, and that's how we learn, through the emotions and how to work through them.
Is that also too? I've always wanted. Say, I've had deep thoughts about Jason Bland or Jack Handy. I've always had deep thoughts about this idea, why we have to be here in a physical form to learn, because that seems to be the idea, right? Right?
Yeah, to experience. Because think about it. Okay, so if you're in an etheric, okay, so we're these energetic. Look at it like this. Okay, change it up. You're just energy. You have this energetic soul. It's come into this body, and this is the vehicle you have to move around in the world. Okay, but when you leave this place, your energy, your soul will leave your body, and then you'll be back to an etheric body. But when you're in a body, you can actually experience, and you can feel, and you can touch, and you can smell, and you can, it's completely different. So imagine if you couldn't, right? If you couldn't drink that cold glass of milk, or if you couldn't feel the cold grass on your hands. Think about all little things that we take for granted. Okay, so that's why.
Well, I don't know if it's the feeling, because I've thought about that. Is it just because on the afterlife everything is? I mean, I feel like the afterlife. I mean, we're not going to eat or food or all that stuff, but you're not going to want it, maybe.
Yeah.
I think some of that might draw us back here, but it isn't also the fact that we don't know. If you're in a place where there's no risk.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Right, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing to lose or gain.
Yeah.
There's, South Park. Sorry, fan. Heaven only has Mormons in it, right? God brought all the Mormons up there, like, and the devil comes up to heaven, and they're like, "Hey, you want to play Parcheesi? Like, they don't have nothing to do. Like everybody else is in hell partying and stuff, like in South Park's view." But that's the thing. If you live in a state, did you ever see What Dreams May Come? Robin Williams.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
In that he paints his own reality.
Yes.
So I've always wondered: is it really the fact that the body's a filter to help us learn when we get back to that state to better control that experience in that reality?
Well, we're painting our own reality right now. So, because we are creators, we've got that little spark, all of us have it. So we're able to create whatever we want here.
We are. AI, video games.
Yeah, but also we create our reality as far as, are we going to be joyful? Are we going to wake up in the morning and have a really nasty attitude? Or are we going to wake up in the morning and have a really good attitude? It's our choice. We have free will, and we choose to create what kind of reality we want to be in. I think we're here to learn. We're also here to create. We're co-creators. I think it's a blessing to be here. I think we don't acknowledge what a blessing it is to be here in these bodies, to be honest with you. Yeah.
I think when you have a child, you're your parent, that it awakens your eyes to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Seeing life come into this world, and you realize how precious it is. Death does that too. When you lose a family member, as sad and as awful and horrible and as long as it's going to hurt, it's also to teach us. It's that risk. It's the loss. It's the idea that we live in this ignorance that we are now separated from the person, even though we know we're not. It makes that love more powerful.
Right, because it never dies. It never dies because the energy never dies.
Right.
You still have that no matter what. And the angels can really help us and guide us through our life if we choose to connect and if we choose to acknowledge them. It's like having somebody else standing there. You got to remember, you actually really do have an angel standing next to you, and they just want you to acknowledge them and work with them. And you can ask them anything, and they're kind. So if you ever get a message that's harsh, it's not your angel.
Okay? Right.
They're kind and they're uplifting. Yeah, exactly. So my goal is really to get people to connect back to source, like I said in the beginning of our conversation, and back to the earth and to their guardian, because it's like we're these computers that have lost the connection to the mother. Do you know what I mean? We've Definitely. And so we've got to connect back. And as we do, as I said before, then you change. You just change as a person. It's really odd. After connecting for so long, I mean, after a while, I started to realize I looked at everything differently. And I was so happy and joyful all the time, and then I realized what was happening. It was the energy.
I'm not happy and joyful all the time, but I'm a definitely more joyful, happier person than I was when I was 18. I was a very moody teenager, as most teenagers are, and I wore a lot more darker. I still wear dark clothing, but I was more like. I remember my cousin Phil was my friend. We're good friends, and he didn't want to hang out with me because you're just too dark and depressing half the time. Something he told me at the time, which he was right. What changed me is because I went looking for the darkness, and I had a short story of it. Is I had what people call shadow person, demon, or something attack me for 4 months when I was from 17 to 18. I met it when I was 17, and I stirred it up when I was 18, and this thing attacked me and 2 other friends for about 4 months until it levitated me up off my bed, and I basically called out to God in my mind because I couldn't talk. I was paralyzed, and God answered, and I felt this. There was this big bright light that came into my room, and I felt this overwhelming sensation of love. And everything, like all that fear and insecurity this thing put on me and tried to push on me and try to make me hurt myself or others was gone. Like that. I felt instantaneous knowing that I'm always here. I'm with you. You're never alone, and it's all right. You're forgiven.
Isn't that?
As I was saying, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And the message I had in that was that everyone's forgiven, even that thing that just blew out of my room. Whatever that demon, dark shadow thing was, even it was forgiven. And I just knew all that at that moment. The only other time I felt something like that in my life, and it was complete joy. Like if I could just touch that kind of feeling again, God, there's no drug that could compare to that. You know what I'm saying? It was that's the Holy Spirit.
Look how blessed you are to have had that experience.
I am. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I feel like I had to reach the darkness and be stupid to have my eyes opened that there is a higher power. There is this, and that we are not alone. And when your loved one died alone somewhere, you're afraid of how they weren't alone. Right. That's what I understood in that moment. Never, when my time comes, that will be there again for me. And the only other time I felt it is when the week I was moving out of my parents' house, I saw my now 9-year-old son, many years before he was born, translucent boy, walk up to me in my parents' daylight living room and smile at me. And I felt that same inner knowing and voice. It's no voice. It's just a knowing and the feeling of love. And he smiled at me and just vanished. And then many years later, he's born. I know the moment he was born and he smiled at me. That was the boy I saw.
Isn't that crazy? Wow, you've had some cool experiences. I got to see my dad leave, which was kind of cool. We were in different states when he passed, and I walked into the other room and I looked up. I was in my living room and I looked up and I saw him. He was standing there and he was young again. And he had a short sleeve shirt on and he did the see you later wave. And that was it. I got to see my dad go, but I don't get to see as much. I think because I'm more fearful. I think I'm a little fearful. I feel, and I'm an empath, all of those things.
Right.
But I think like you've seen, I think that's really cool. I don't get to see all the time.
I just had Adrian ask, does Nancy know what her angel looks like?
No, I asked her the other day. Isn't that funny that you would ask me that? I asked her the other day what she looks like, and she says she looks a lot like me. Isn't that interesting? And I said, really? And she said, yeah. So that's all I know.
Well, there is the concept. I have to bring this up, the idea, because I think we were talking about this recently with a guest, the higher self. Mm-hmm. There's you here in this reality and all that, but there's a higher dimensional version of you. Mm-hmm. Could that be, in a sense, your guardian angel?
I think there is your higher self, but I do believe we have
a separate entity.
Yeah, because these are God's helpers. You got to remember, they're God's messengers. They're God's helpers, and we all have one to guide us. Just like we have spirit guides. It's the same thing. And Jesus talked about it in the Bible. I can't.
In Matthew.
Yeah, he talks about
18:10.
Thank you. He talks about us all having a guardian angel. So yeah,
that's the ones I remember. That's one of the ones I remember. I don't remember all of them, but I remember that one.
Yeah. So it's it's really awesome. And, when I do readings for people, I'll tell you what really pushed me over the edge. And when I really knew for sure, like I knew, the vibration and everything. And I have a high vibration too. I do healings and energy healings and that type of thing. But what really did it for me was I was doing a reading, and it was a woman who had a child who passed, and my angel was able, right? It was so hard, to be honest.
I don't know how you do it, honestly.
Yeah, it was hard. Well, it was hard. It was one of the hardest things I've done is those type of readings. But my angel was able to bring forth the information for the parents in such a way that it was comforting, but right on the money. I mean, so
right. It needs to be in that situation.
Yeah, and that's what really made me realize how holy this thing is, and how on the money, and how important this is. How I don't know, sacred. I just want to say
sacred.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah,
I think that's a great word for it, because I've had experiences where I've gotten communication from probably the deceased. I'm not going to get into all of my stories tonight. People are here for you. But I've had information passed to me I feel came from deceased people, but I would never want to do what you want to do, because I can't control it. I don't know how it works, and I've tried. Maybe I can get better at it. I'm not really interested, because I don't want to be in that position. I think what you're doing is sacred, and I don't feel up to that challenge. I'm saying that you're like you have to be as serious as somebody who's a psychologist dealing in family trauma.
Because I work for God. I work for spirit. Yeah, I definitely do. Absolutely.
It's the same as you being a pastor, a minister.
I am a minister.
That serious. That's the sacred part of it. Dealing with a family, and that's and I think that's awesome that you have this ability and able to do that. I would be overwhelmed with parents. Like in that situation, I don't emotionally. I'm empathic myself. I don't know how I could do it.
It's taken many years. I'm a little older than you, but it's taken many years to. I think, just like I was speaking before about we're down here to learn. I've learned so much, and I'm like, why did I have to go through this, and why did I have to go through that? But I had to go through all of this to get to the point where, wow, now I connect with God, and now I have an angel that I connect with. And if I wouldn't have gone through all those things, it propelled me. I went through a terrible divorce, and that's when I started connecting to God every day. It's usually a death in the family, or a divorce, or, a loss of a job or something, but it propels you into, working on yourself is what it's about. It's all about working on yourself, each person working on themselves and learning to connect and raising our own vibration. And that's how this thing is going to work, where we all raise our vibration together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, we definitely need some vibration raising, man. Oh, that's a long Facebook. We definitely need some vibration raising happening here. Definitely recently. Do you think? I know you mentioned earlier. You said aliens or angels won't let the world go to pot. Basically. But I worry as society. If we become, like I said, I see the part of society that's awakening to this. There's more people interested in this topic and spiritual topics, and but I also see a world that is becoming much more transhuman and detached. That's my fear. It's like where society goes. Can the angels wake up and raise that vibration in enough people to stop that momentum of society? I fear society goes to.
Yeah, there's a lot of us light workers down here doing this work. There's a lot of people writing these books, a lot of people doing podcasts, a lot of people talking about this stuff. People are more aware. Look at Trump getting back into office. I mean, come on, everybody spoke. They don't want this stuff anymore. And I don't know, I don't want to get political, but I watched Biden hand out all these presidential awards yesterday. And it was just like too much, man, Hillary
line up the criminals and let's give them awards.
Yeah, George.
I just so you know, I hate them all.
I was just like, what is going on? But my point, you asked a question. My point is, we are seeing, it's right in front of our faces. We're watching this craziness, and it's up to us. It's up to us as humanity to say, no, we don't want that. No. That's not working for us. Just like we said, that's why everybody voted for Trump. No, we don't want this kind of, government anymore. I think it should be like 12 really wise souls that run the show. That's what I think. But that's maybe in the future. Do you know what I mean? I don't think.
I like one person, an executive, like they weren't supposed to be the one running the show.
Yeah.
According to the founding fathers, they're an executive, but they aren't supposed to.
Yeah.
Congress is supposed to decide if we go to war, but we gave up on that a long time ago. We're also supposed to fund our wars, with our actual budget, which we gave up a long time ago and just print money to do, So a lot of it, it could have worked, it was a great idea, and, of course, people corrupt it. That smile on Hillary Clinton's face, I think that's what Jamie's talking about there.
Oh, my God.
I'm just getting more. It's like,
Oh, well, just to watch, it's so weird. Well,
I got to say, I don't like Republican politicians or Democrat politicians.
Well,
I pretty much hate them all equally.
Well, but bottom line is, it's all coming out. Look at all this stuff.
Right.
It's Jay-Z. Look at all this stuff that's coming out. The human trafficking. My point is that we are seeing it. Everybody, it's in plain sight now. Okay, we are seeing what's going on, and it's up to us. We have.
That's what I agree on.
It's
100%.
Right.
It ain't gonna be one person changing these things.
All of us have to stand up. We have to band together, and we have to say, okay, enough is enough. Because we have to band together in our little communities that we have, and we all have to, whether you're Republican, whether you're Democrat, it doesn't really matter. It's all about people. It's about us.
As Drake says, the truth always gets out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Might take 40, 50 years sometimes, but yes.
So that's what I think. I think that we're seeing the truth. It's up to us. I think that humanity is waking up, and I feel really positive, Jason. I think that actually I know the light wins, and it's just, but we got to go through all this. We got to go through all this crap first.
Before this was 4 months ago, I had this dream where I was riding with my family, and I could see like this huge crowd of people, and we were going by, and it was like all this love, like there was good hope in the dream. Like I had hope for this country in that dream, and I don't usually in my waking state. So it was a weird dream because I don't, honestly. So maybe there is. Maybe there's a change.
I have hope. I think, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised.
We shall see, as the great Zen master would say.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I want to be more hopeful. I do see hope. I do see hope. And more people waking up to the bull crap. I do see it. I see it. When people are talking about make America healthy again, that's what I'm behind. That they're waking up to that. There's all these toxins in our food and all the crap we're doing to each other, and people waking up to war crimes. As I was mentioning earlier at the news segment, there are sins our government has done with our taxpayers' money that we might have to answer for one day. We've done horrible things as a country, as also all these other countries have done. But doesn't excuse us, and our taxpayers' money's fed it, and I want those truths to come out. People need to know what actions your government's taken on your behalf, really not on your behalf, on the corporation's behalf, with your money. And there needs to be people need to be answered for. There needs to be trials. There needs to be people held accountable. I mean, people. Innocent civilian women and children have died under many circumstances, under the Trump administration, under the Obama administration, under Biden's administration, all these administrations. Well, I'm not getting into politics. I'm talking about what our government's done. It's done horrible things. Horrible, horrible things.
Well, yeah, they've lied to us, but people are starting to wake up and see the truth. And that's why I feel positive. And I think enough people are waking up that we're just not putting up with it anymore.
That's my hope.
Mm-hmm.
That's my hope.
Yeah.
Like I said, ain't going to be Trump, ain't going to be any politician that's going to solve this issue.
No, I think it's the people.
It's the people. It has to be a movement. It has to be a movement.
Mm-hmm.
And when you said it like with the election results, I don't see that as a referendum on how great people think Trump is. I think it's a referendum on like, okay, we'll throw the big giant bull in the china shop if we got to. We're done.
Yeah.
We're done with this crap.
Yeah, they just weren't happy at all. Right. I agree with you.
Right. So it's a sign. It's a sign, but like I said, it isn't going to change through politics. It isn't going to be. It's going to be it has to be a societal mindset change.
Yeah, let's talk about signs because I do a whole thing about signs in here because people.
Yeah, you mentioned 111 and 222 and all that stuff. Yeah, I pay attention to that.
People are starting to see it,
And
but why are people all of a sudden starting to see 1111 and 2222 and 3333? we're starting to see it because our vibration is being raised, and now we're more aware. The signs have always been there. We just haven't seen them because we weren't there yet. But when you start to see the signs, then you know that you're connecting, and you know that your vibration is being raised. It makes a huge difference. You'll see, and people ask me all the time, what does it mean, 1111? Well, it means you're on the right path.
I get 1111 a lot.
Yeah, it's guidance. You're on the right path. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. I'll look at my my phone a lot, and I'll get 555, and that's like new beginnings. So that's, go ahead.
What's 222?
That's what I charge for my readings, actually. 222. I get 222 all the time. Again, that's an angel number where it's really confirmation that you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. For me,
because I get 1111 and 222 a lot.
yes, it's the same thing. Now, here's what I realized over time. It started with 1111, then it went to 2222, then it went to 3333, then it went to 4444. Now I'm at the fives. So I've seen a progression. So I think as I evolve, then I see different numbers. That's what I've realized. Yeah,
makes sense. I mean, do you agree though? That's just one of the signs of us looking at a clock and recognizing the time. I think there's a lot of other. No. I'm not. No. What I'm saying is that we have these signals. You see 555 on there, but it's not just that. You'll be going down the road and you turn on the radio and the first song comes on, has a meaning to what you're going through right now. Exactly. How many people have experienced that? Tons of people.
Yes, that and billboards and license plates.
The synchronicities.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's not just the clocks.
Yes,
it's all over the place, these signs.
Yeah, I had a couple come to see me. I was doing just a fair here in Connecticut this summer, and she had lost 2 children. It was really sad. And she said, I have to tell you that I lost 2 babies, but my husband and I were so upset after the second loss that we went on this trip. And she said, so we went on the trip, and she said, everywhere we went, it said 222. And she said, the hotel address, the restaurant we went to, she said, the license plates we would see. She said, everything. She said, the phone, it was all 222. And she said, I really felt it was the angels giving me comfort about letting me know that my children were okay. And that comforted her. And she said it went on for 2 days. And her husband was there too. And he told me the same story. I mean, it was crazy. It was the addresses, it was the license plates, it was everything. And it was just confirmation and comfort. And she felt comforted by the angels who wanted to tell me. Yeah.
Synchronicities like this, like that, their experience, it just fascinates the heck out of me because people think we live in a matrix, you know what I'm saying? People think we live in a simulation, sometimes, but it's just the amount of what goes on behind the scenes and the other, for them to pull that off, that song to come on.
Yeah.
Right. For that song to come on, or for them to get a hotel room 222, or, for all those things to line up, it just boggles the mind how they can control or influence reality for these moments to happen that are, and the thing is, like you said, once you start paying attention to this, it's like the blue car. Once you see one, you notice the blue car, you notice all the blue cars, right? Once you start paying attention to this, you start seeing these things. You start noticing that something's trying to communicate to you through reality.
It's cool. It's actually really cool. And it's comforting. Just, I told you that story because it is comforting. There are days where, I feel alone, and then I get 444 and I'm like, all right, you guys, and it's just knowing that they're with you, knowing you're not,
right.
That's
something's trying to reach out through us.
Yeah.
Through this, our for what we believe is our reality around us, changing things, or trying to get our attention to let us know you are not alone. Think about, people's near-death experiences that they usually tell you, not all of them, but I'd say a large percentage of them tell you there's somebody there with them to guide them on their way.
Right.
Nobody's alone in the end. Even, I'm saying, like you're something there.
Your guardian angel is with you.
Yeah. and people talk about before these near-death experiences, something pulling them out of their body before the accident, so they didn't even feel. Yeah. They just see their body getting broken or whatever. I had one guy, he got thrown from his car. He literally saw his body get thrown from the car. He was taken out before, and he saw his body like skid across the pavement like a rag doll. Something there was watching the whole time. Like, oh, nope, take him out. That's a comforting thought. For anybody has lost somebody, that they weren't alone, and that something made sure they didn't feel any pain.
Right. And I just think we're getting to a point where people are more open-minded, and I think they will start to connect. Every time I've done a radio show or a podcast since the book has come out, it's been really interesting. I guess I should tell you this. So I've taught people how to connect, just like I did with you guys, on the show. And I've had so many people send me messages after saying, I connected with my angel, and, I connected with Uriel, or I connected with Raphael, or it's been...
Raphael has been mine. I don't know. I used to do Angel Tarot, and Raphael's the one that seems to come out to me. I think that's mine. As an archangel, the one I always identify with, I've always been interested in is Raphael.
Yeah. So, it's been really... it's made me very happy that people are connecting, and they're connecting very easily, and they're starting to work with the angels, and I think it's great.
Well, we're going to go to commercial break. We're going to open up the phone lines. Stick around with us here. Okay. But we'll be back, guys. We're going to go to commercial break. We're going to open up the phone lines with our guest tonight, Nancy Yearout, author of A Guide to Angel Communication and Spiritual Law, an angel's connection to God. Like I said earlier at the beginning of the show, if you, and I know the radio audience probably missed this, if you've know who your guardian angel is, or you've had communication with it, join us in this conversation tonight. Or if you want to know and you want Nancy's advice, call in. Let's talk about angels, your guardian angels to be specific, after the short commercial break.
Into the combined effects of sensory deprivation and hallucinatory drugs. The subject of the experiment is himself, and the experiment is out of control. Ken Russell's Altered States, a film that must not be missed, is in the West End now. Altered States, Certificate X.
Do you wish for more paranormal and spiritual content? The Paranormal Chronicles magazine is a free digital magazine crammed with the very best in paranormal and spiritual articles and features. No sign-up, no subscription, just free reading and knowledge for you. Read today at www.paranormalchronicles.com/magazine.
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday, the live stream, with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do Voices from Beyond, the Cold Case Files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Paranation Magazine is a new paranormal magazine based out of Denver, Colorado. Our goal isn't just to give you the best paranormal content out there, but to promote paranormal unity. We're doing this by giving everyone an opportunity to tell their stories and to share their experiences. For more information, follow us on Facebook at Paranation Magazine and soon, paranationmag.com.
I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like is the extraordinary travels of a young, alone, and broke psychic in the highly anticipated new book from internationally renowned psychic, medium, medical intuitive, and best-selling author Sherry Dillard. Critics have described I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like as an engrossing memoir, an empowering story of how a broken girl came to accept her psychic gift, a refreshing and fun read. I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like is available through Amazon, Kindle, Barnes & Noble, and wherever books are sold.
Wrote Spirits of the Dead with a pen dipped in warm blood. You will see the ultimate in terror with this important all-star cast. Brigitte Bardot, Alain Delon, Jane Fonda, Terence Stamp, and Peter Fonda in Edgar Allan Poe's Spirits of the Dead. Only Poe's demented genius could bring to the screen such horror and evil. Spirits of the Dead stars Brigitte Bardot, Alain Delon, Jane Fonda, Terence Stamp, and Peter Fonda. Directed by three masters of the cinema, Federico Fellini, Louis Malle, and Roger Vadim. Spirits of the Dead is an adventure in terror beyond your wildest nightmares. Spirits of the Dead in color is rated R.
The answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything is 42. 42? Yes, I thought it over quite thoroughly. It is, it's 42. It would have been simpler, of course, to have known what the actual question was.
But it was the question. The ultimate question. Of everything.
That's not a question. Only when you know the question will you know what the answer means.
You're listening to Paranormal Soup, bringing you the weird every Sunday night. Call into the show and join the discussion. The call-in lines are 219-230-4444 or 260-225-9419 or by Skype caller ID OOJBland00 or JBland Paranormal Soup. And now to your host, Jason Bland.
Tonight's guest is Nancy Yearout. She's the author of A Guide to Angel Communication and Spiritual Laws, An Angel's Connection to God. She's a psychic, empath. She communicates with angels, and she wants to teach you how to do it tonight. And maybe she won't teach you how to do it tonight, but it sounds like she's had some number of podcasts where people come back, they start the communication. So I think she can teach you something about that tonight. But if you want to call in and share your own experiences with your guardian angels or ask her how to have experiences with your guardian angels, the phone lines are now open. Call into the show. Join the conversation. But let's go ahead and get back to our guests. Also want to say, too, don't forget, we do have a Patreon. You can, if you want to donate $2 a month, does help support the show. And Super Chats definitely will get up on the screen for questions to our guests. If you can't call in, we'll make sure they get there. But phone lines are now open. Let me get the banners up. Like I said, you guys can call in, join the conversation. But let's go ahead and get our guests back on here. Nancy, thanks for sticking with us.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jason.
So, tonight, I mean, we don't want to give the whole book away for people. But what are some things you can tell? I mean, you gave a little bit of an example there, what they can do to try to get the name of their guide. I guess that's a start, right?
Well, yeah. And in the book, I didn't really talk about the spiritual laws. I put some of the spiritual laws in the book so people kind of have a feel, kind of helps bring it all together. Like,
right.
And I'll go through a couple of them. Just, be true to yourself, be who you are, kind of thing. And be truthful and honest. I put a lot of different laws. Forgiveness is a big one, let it go. So some of the different spiritual laws that I think are important that people, just things that we've forgotten, honor your own body, I talk about the power of love, let the love flow. I do a spiritual law on that. So there's a lot of information in here that kind of goes along with it. I talk about judgment. Don't judge another person, how important it is. So these are some of the spiritual laws that I go through in the
I think
book.
they're great ones. Those are all big ones on my list. I mean,
Yeah.
as a parent, it's something I try to teach my sons. Is like I tell them when a kid's mean or being a little brat to them or doing whatever, you don't know what they go home to.
Right.
You don't know what they have to deal with. You don't know what maybe the kid is just a little jerk, but you don't know. You don't know what somebody else goes through.
Exactly.
I try to get them to put themselves in other people's shoes, feel empathy. I think the worst thing we're doing in society is making people disassociate somebody, from being a human, basically, or, what do you call it? Basically dehumanizing people. Yeah.
We've forgotten. Well, yeah, people are so harsh. They're not kind to each other. We're not compassionate towards each other anymore. And we're all these souls in these bodies, and we don't treat each other with respect. I think that's really one of the main things that has gone on, unfortunately, in our society. We don't respect each other.
Right. And we don't respect ourselves sometimes,
Well, yeah.
That's part of the problem, too.
Yeah. Well, that's why the first one in here is to, be true to yourself.
Be true to yourself. I also say don't lie to yourself.
Well, you just got to
be honest. Be honest, and that's the hardest thing in the world to do, right? Sometimes, but it's something you should strive for. And I've lied to myself plenty of times, but I've tried to strive to. That's one of the those things that I try to recognize. Self-reflection is a big help on that one, guys.
No, it is.
But don't lie to yourself. Be honest with yourself. If you can't be honest with anyone, be honest with yourself.
Yeah, and then I do the 10th spiritual law is to be aware of the signs and numbers, like we were talking about a little while ago. And so anyway, and then like I said, I give a lot of the messages from Archangel Gabriel are in the back of the book for humanity, and they're really good. Some of them the publisher took out because I do talk about the wars that are going on right now. And
why take the? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I love the publishing company. I do
too. Yeah,
I do. I really do. But why?
So there's a little bit, but I talk about the war in Ukraine, and I talk about.
Hey, you can talk about it here all you want.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I'm going to let you right now. Politically, we're not a political show, but I talk about these things because they affect the world. They affect all of us, and I have no political leaning on any of this. That I hate all of them.
Well, this is Archangel Gabriel, channeling and telling me this information. So I'm writing it down. When I channel Archangel Gabriel, I usually have a legal pad that I work with, and I just write down what he says. And that's how I work with him. And a lot of these messages are really important, to get out to humanity. So anyway.
Adrian, you just called in. I had you on hold, and it just hung up, or you got hung up on. Try again, Adrian. We had Adrian. I know it was Adrian. I saw the name. I'm looking for... and your Ziriana's going to call. You should call. Adrian, I don't know what happened. She'll try calling again. Great call. You definitely got to talk to Adrian and Ziriana. The war in Ukraine, what I wish people would understand is history. History. All right.
Well, there's stuff going on that, that is that they're...
If they understood the historical factors and what's happened before this point when the media started covering Ukraine, I think their opinions on Ukraine would change a lot. We do got a phone call here. I'm not sure who this is because it came through a different line. Who do we got on the line?
Yeah, I tried the other line, Jason. The first one hung up on me. Disconnected.
I wondered.
So it's Adrian from Connecticut.
Hey, Adrian.
Oh,
hey. Hey, neighbor. I'm in the northwest corner of Connecticut.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too. So what a delightful subject this is. It just has me smiling because I had my very first assistance, that I recognized as an angel last year, the end of last year, maybe in November or who knows. But I had a woman asked for my help. I'm kind of an empathic counselor and spirit medium and whatnot. So this one lady knew of that and asked me for help. So I meditated on it, and I got back to her, and I knew it was an angel or angels that gave me information on how she could help herself and heal her heart and her mother's heart and their relationship. They told me exactly what to tell her, how to do.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. It was working from the heart, and it worked. They had never gotten along, and the results were her mother said the kindest thing to her for the first time ever in her life. It was like, and it was the angels.
Wow.
So that was a unique experience for me.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thanks
Yeah.
for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very kind, and they will bring forth beautiful messages. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was wondering, I had a question. I was under the impression that angels were never human, definitely not the archangels, but what about others? Because I've read the Bible, and they've said that angels have shown up in human form, but that doesn't mean they were human at one time prior to being an angel, right?
Right. No, there are, I'm just going to mention there's a lot of angelic souls that are in human form right now here on the planet, helping to raise the vibration. And so, yes, there are a lot, more than you would realize. And I think a lot of people who are angelic souls that are here right now are afraid to speak up and say something because they're afraid they're going to be judged, or people will look at them like they're, kind of crazy. But they're here, just like there's, different, from different species, from different planets are here too. It's the same thing with the angels. They can incarnate, and they're here. And I also believe, like we were talking earlier, that angels can be human and elevate to an angelic, vibration. Does that answer?
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, because I've talked with other people, because I haven't met any in particular, but I've talked with people who have been near another, whom they said their vibration was just amazing. You could tell they were from just in a higher place.
Yes.
Like
yes.
possessed by an angel, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, no,
You could
that's absolutely true. Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's great. All right, well, thank you for answering my question, and I'll hang up and continue to enjoy the show. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
I think Azirian was trying to call. She's like, Adrian always beats me.
That was really nice. Yeah, and that's true. The angels will bring forth beautiful messages that help people. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the interesting idea, you talk about angelic energy or angels inhabiting human form here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of things I've covered that in fiction and stuff like that, but it makes you wonder, moments when somebody does something miraculous or something like that, that angels don't step into somebody, in a sense. I'm not saying possess or anything like that, but like they are a conduit for that angel. You know what I'm saying? Like, certain people are conduits for certain angels,
They're
vessels.
Okay, so look at it like this. There's a lot of, God, and you'd have to read my book, but there's a lot of us who were more of angelic beings that came down, and we didn't really, I think there's a lot of people who didn't really realize until later in life that they had a higher vibration and didn't feel like they belonged here. I've talked to a lot of different
I've felt that way. I feel like I always felt I was an alien. Was the song I wrote when I was a teenager.
Exactly.
When I was in a band.
So that's me. That's who I am. I'm one of these people who have never felt like I belonged here at all. And I am looking forward to going back, to be straight with you. I know that sounds really strange, but
it doesn't. I've heard people say that. I'm not, because
it's been
really
difficult,
you tell me I can't drink my hot coffee there. They said that why I'm here, it's hot coffee. I don't know. No, the reason I have problems. I try to deal with anxiety and fears, and they always center around separation from my family. Like I don't want something to happen to them. I don't want something to happen to me. Life goes on. We're gonna meet again. All that. Yeah, but right now, right here, how I feel is I want to protect them and have all the time I can with my wife and kids. And my mom and my dad.
And that's beautiful.
The people I love. I was just saying, like.
Yeah.
You can get into this idea that we all, and I definitely believe it. I've had my reincarnation experiences. I believe life goes on, and there is going to be more than this life. But right now, right here with my family, when I'm, the fear comes in and the worry, something's going to happen. I don't want anything. I want to enjoy this as long as I want to die an old man in the bed with my children surrounding me. If I get that, I'll be like, I lived a great life. I don't care what happens all the way in between all that. If I get to die with my family in a peaceful way, as an old man, I will call it a great life, no matter what.
Then you
as
will.
As long as both my children are standing there with me, or standing there with me, I'm good.
Yeah. Well, I think that's wonderful. I think that's beautiful. Well, we have to live in the moment,
Exactly.
That's why they say it's really important to live in the present moment and not to think about the past or think about the future, but to be right here, right now. And sometimes that's hard to do, but yeah, that's why.
I think death reminds us of that, though.
Yeah.
I think that's why death is here, is to remind us this is here right now. And your time here now could be gone any second.
It's true. And, that's really, really true. And what we do really matters here, too. I want to say that everything we do, what I've learned, I do host a podcast like you do, and all the different people that I've interviewed, and I've realized that everything we do, everything we say, all the actions we take, it has a ripple effect, and it makes a difference, and it affects everybody and everything. So what we do down here does really matter. It's really important that people realize that.
And that's the point of A Wonderful Life, right? The Christmas movie.
Well, yeah.
He thought nothing he was mattered or whatever, and it shows him how every little thing he did, how it affected everything. And I think that's why that movie lasts. Now most people hate it. Like, please turn that goddamn Christmas movie off. Where they're getting at with a Christmas story. Where they're getting at with a Christmas story now too. It's because they replayed somebody on TV. But the movie in itself is beautiful because that's what it's trying to teach you. We got somebody on the phone line we want to get to here.
Okay.
Who do we got?
Hello, Jason. It's Azariana.
Hey, Azariana.
Yeah, I know it. Adrian always beats me first.
I was laughing when I saw your comment.
Yeah, no, she does. Yeah. Well, I have a couple of personal experiences and a comment. I too, my comment is, I too agree that some of that the angels, whether they're guardian angels or angels that we are able to see, have not been human, and I think that when they come into a human body, and they have to experience what being a human is in order to understand us.
That makes sense.
I'm trying to think of words.
But I'm getting what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Before they can help us, they got to understand what we're going through.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I mean, at least that's, one of my beliefs,
Yeah.
And of course, I always see the 111, 222, 1111, things like that all the time. So I look up and I say, oh, well, thank you very much, no matter what it is. Okay, on a personal experience, I once saw my granddaughter's guardian angel. And I was not supposed to see her. And I could not tell you or explain to anybody the awesomeness that she possessed and she gave out.
The energy. You mean the
they don't. Well, energy maybe, I don't know, but the loving, okay? There was so much love and blessings and gratitude, And like I said, I really can't describe her. I know it was a her, but they don't look like, to me, they don't look like anything that, is described if you're Christian in the Bible or anything else like that. they're so different, but they always have this. They come out of love, and again, I thanked her. I was not supposed to see her, but I did, and I don't know her name, but she was definitely, very awesome. Very awesome. And what else was I going to say? Oh yeah, on another note, when I was a teenager, I was arguing with my mother. I was supposed to go out with friends and whatever, and she was supposed to drive me to some place where we were all gonna go out. Well, she didn't want to take me for whatever reason, and the argument escalated. Teenagers, stupidity, and so I was obviously very mad at my mother for not letting me go. Well, about 2 to 3 hours later, this was on a Saturday, 2 or 3 hours later, my mom got a call saying that my friend had been in an accident and they were all seriously hurt. And the car had hit a wall, and whoever wasn't trapped in the car had gotten thrown out of the car. And where I would have been sitting, I would not have made it.
Wow.
And because that was the passenger side, where the car actually got crunched and hit the wall, and it was flat. And when I didn't completely understand it until years later when I started working with angels. And my guardian angel, I know her name, said, yeah, it was stupid. You didn't listen to me, Sometimes I gotta reinforce stuff, and you never listen to me, But ever since then, and a few times after that, I do listen to my guardian angel, and I do believe that people do have 3 guardian angels through their life. One that is always with them, and the other 2 that come from whatever circumstances whatever your life is. Life experiences, your family, things like that. But that's my personal opinion. I don't know if if you have any opinions, I would gladly love to hear them.
Yeah, I agree with you. I believe that I have more than one angel. I have other angels that are with me, but I agree with you that they come and go depending upon your life situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You're absolutely right. I think it's cool that you work with a guardian angel. I think that's awesome.
Well, I'm also a Strega, Italian witchcraft, and I do whenever I do a circle, I tend to call in all the angels, and or the guardian angels, and the one that I work with, besides Michael or Michael, which I say, is Uriel.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I find that, and then there's another angel that I've worked with. I had to do work with, but a lot of people, I get a lot of controversy with that. I could say his name, but I don't want to get anyone upset or think ill of me if I said it. But I have seen it. I do see angels. I have seen them, and like I said, I do work with them. But it's definitely a higher vibration, and always with lots of love, you know, always with lots of love. And my last comment, if I can squeeze it in,
Go ahead.
is that you're in Connecticut?
Yes.
Wow, that's three of us. Adrian's in Connecticut, I'm in Connecticut, and you are. So if I ever get a chance to meet you, I will introduce myself.
I know. I'm in Colchester.
Oh wow, that's not that far from me. Wow.
Where are you?
And well, I'm in New Haven area.
Okay. Well, we're gonna
In the
have.
New Haven area.
All right. Well, you'll have to get together. I do readings. You'll have to come visit me.
Definitely, I look forward to it, and I will definitely join
Yeah, look me
your psychic view or just YouTube and stuff like that.
I've got,
you know?
High Road to Humanity is my show. So yeah, and you can, absolutely. That would be really cool.
Okay.
Two angel communicators meeting on my show. They're both
love
from
it.
Connecticut. Synchronicity.
That is so awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, Jason. Thank you for the time, and everyone have many blessings to you and your families.
You too, and a good
Thank
new
you.
year.
Thank you. You too. Thank you.
From Connecticut, man.
Connecticut loves my show, I guess.
I love
I've had
it.
a number of people.
I just moved here like in this summer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where are you originally from?
Well, I grew up in Ohio and Michigan, and then I moved to New Mexico, and I lived in New Mexico for 20 some years. Yeah.
Ohio and Michigan. So you're a Midwesterner like me.
Yeah, and then I came back. Yeah, I went
just,
to New Mexico and then came back.
It was weird when you guys were talking. I had something weird happen. I had like this orange flash of light to my right. There's no lights here. There's a brick wall. It was really weird. I don't know what's something weird happens live here. I don't know if I'm seeing flashing lights, if I'm having a seizure or something. But
is that your
really weird.
Angel?
Maybe I don't know. That was really weird.
I was getting like a piercing, piercing ringing.
Ringing?
Yeah.
I get the ring in the ear sometimes. I've heard people say that's your angel tuning your energy or something like that.
That's the angel.
I get that all the time. I think it's tinnitus, but
no, it's not.
No, it comes.
I'm getting old.
They're kind of getting you to pay attention.
It's weird when it happens.
Louder than normal lately,
right?
To where it's almost piercing, and it muffles as it's piercing. So much so that I can normally still hear out of this ear, and I'll kind of have, the sound in here, and it's whether the sound's going in or out or in is kind of how I can tell if it's EMF or spirit. But it's been getting so loud, and it'll switch ears, but the other ear will actually muffle out too, and it just really catches your attention.
Yeah, I've experienced the same exact thing, Jamie. I literally have. I mean, it's weird. Like, I'm like, is that tinnitus? Because I do get ringing ears. Listen. I got this way up loud.
Tinnitus.
I'm saying I've done a lot of damage to my ears over the years. I'm a musician, so that's my first guess. I go to Logic. That's how I am. It's just how I'm built and wired. I ask all the questions.
We've done a lot.
But there's a part of me realizes that it's like a tuning. It's the way it's happening is not like my regular ringing in my ears when it happens. It's like it's like a tuning or something's happening. I and even I feel it in my head. It's not just the ringing.
I can ask my angel,
Go for it.
So what do you want me to ask?
What's the ringing in my ears? Tinnitus or angels?
What's the ringing in his ears right now? They're trying to get your attention.
And the orange light?
The orange light. Again, it's attention getter. It's an attention getter. She says,
got my attention.
Wait. It's a playful. She says it's playful attention is what she says. Playful.
Sometimes it does feel playful, the little synchronicities and stuff that happens, right? Like, haha, look what I did,
Do you have a message? Do you have a message for him? They really like your energy, and they like your upbeat attitude, and they like what you're doing, and they think that, and you will continue to do it. Well, they're happy that you're going to continue to do what you're doing. Yeah, it brings people joy and opens their minds.
Hey, it's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Open your minds, people.
That's what she says. I know.
No, I mean, it is my purpose of my show is to connect people, make them feel like, they're not crazy to have these
There
experiences.
you go. Yeah,
You
connection.
know,
Yeah.
Iziriana can get on here and talk about her angel communications or Adrian.
She's
And,
got so many
we're
great
a
stories.
community, we can talk about it. We're a small group, but, we're like, it's like, I don't go to church. I'm a spiritual person.
Yeah.
But I don't belong to any church or any religion. I believe in Jesus Christ and the New Testament, and I think the Old Testament's aliens. You know what I'm saying? That's how I got a lot going on here. But I guess what I'm saying is I do this so people, we come here, we can all talk, have different opinions, and just no judgments. Let's just talk about. We got to connect the dots. That's why, I know some guests get annoyed with me, but I share my experiences, and I know my audience probably gets annoyed with me because they're like, "Here's another Jason story I've heard 100 times." But I do it because I want to have a conversation like I would with you. I sat with you on a bench and we just started talking. And you're like, "Hey, I'm an angel communicator." I'm like, "Hey, I'm into that." And we start talking about our experiences. That's why I do the show, because I don't get to travel. I'm a parent and I live here, with my family, and I don't get to see people. I live vicariously through this.
Yeah.
And I get to meet cool people like you that talk to angels or aliens or Bigfoot or anything, and I'm all for it. And I'm all into it. The beauty, the dead internet or not, this is the beauty of the internet for me. Technology is a great thing for this.
Yeah.
That we get to have these conversations, and we got to have more of these conversations, is what I'm saying.
Well, I think so too. And that's definitely why I wrote this book. I really want people to connect. It's exactly what you said. It's connection. It's all about connection. We all need to connect back.
Yeah. And when you see some of the evilest things people have done, and you find out these were people who were completely disconnected.
Well, yeah, people lose their way. Like I said, they look for, to buy, if I just had a car, or if I just had that outfit, or if I just looked like this and had that plastic surgery, or any of this kind of stuff, they're looking outside of themselves. They're not coming from within. And when you start to connect, then you don't look for these outside things to make you happy. There's so many people in these relationships. I've watched this, myself included.
Oh God, yes.
That are in
It's
relationships,
an age-old tale.
thinking that somebody else is going to make them happy.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen. What were you asking me? You had a question.
Adrian, you want to pull that one back up, Jamie?
What's the question? During the first break, I asked my angel's name. I heard Michael with the C sound like an S. Did I hear that right? Or do you think it's
think it's Michael?
Okay, so Adrian, what is Adrian's angel name? It's more of Michelle. It's like a Michelle. And that's why she's confused. That's what I get. Not from me, from my angel.
Right.
Let me clarify. I'm just the conduit. Yeah.
Sorry, you're reading that. And I'm like trying to decipher something in the chat room, which I don't usually do. I see somebody mentioned the Church of Satan. I'm like, oh, hello, okay.
That's okay. Those aren't the angels we're talking about tonight.
Next week, Dr. Heather Lynn, we're going to talk about Baphomet. That might be the show for you.
Yeah.
We are.
It's the wrong group of angels.
This Sunday, angels. Next week, Baphomet. That's what we do on this show. That's why I love it. We get into anything. I don't know. I mean, maybe I will have a Satanist on here one day.
Gotta be careful.
Give them the open. Yeah.
Yeah, but don't be so open, Jason. You know anything.
I'm not going to be a Satanist or promote it. I'm joking. But I wouldn't be opposed to having a conversation. That's the thing. I'm not opposed to having a conversation, even on the show, with somebody who says they're a devout Satanist. I will have a conversation, because I think we have to have conversations, even with the difficult people we disagree with.
And
have a conversation.
But listen a second. Let me just say one thing. I understand what you're saying, and yes, you have to listen to everybody's point of view, but you don't have to be exposed to that energy, and that's what concerns me.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. They're bringing the dark stuff up, but
because every time that happens, and I try to do that, then I get something dark, and then I got to get it off of me. You know how that stuff goes. So anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. We have to have these conversations with people that have different views and different that, and be open to ideas spiritually, especially. I mean, not the idea that you should become a Satanist, but open the idea that we all have different spiritual
This is
experiences.
exactly why. Case in point.
Yeah. Whoever that is, spreading that crap, just get them out. Can you do that, Jamie?
And would a Satanist really bless, like God bless you?
Yeah, I don't know. Get them out. I don't know what that's about, but we don't need it.
Okay.
Anyways.
All right.
Positive light, love and energy. That's what we want.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We need more of that, and we need more of that in the world. We need more people to. I'm a big believer in my favorite Buddhist monk was Thich Nhat Hanh, and he wrote a book, Peace is Every Step. I have it right on my shelf, and I talk about it all the time on the show. I know, but it's my big belief. It's the golden rule: treat others as you like to be treated. If you want peace, you can't control what others are going to do. You have to do what only you have the choice of what you do.
Mm-hmm.
If you want peace, you have to give it.
Yes.
Yeah. So for people tonight, they're listening. Some people are definitely like Azariana, Adrian. They're already there. They're already communicating with their angels. Mm-hmm. You talked about, you've done previous podcasts. People gotten back to you about this connection. What do you think people, if tonight they go and they get their angel's name, how does that journey really start going for them? Like, what are the signs they should be? How should they go about that journey in a sense of the signs they're looking for?
Yeah, the first thing is like we talked about.
Besides the numbers.
Yeah, the first thing would be just to ask their name, and then you can ask, if they are male or female. Sometimes they don't have a sex at all. And then you can just, start communicating just everyday little things like just ask them, should I go to this store or to that store? Just small questions, what should I wear today? What do you think about this? Or, should I go here? Should I go there? Different, just small questions you can ask your angel and get used to conversing with them. It's telepathic and it's immediate. So remember, it's quicker than you could think. So when you ask the question, that answer comes right in, and don't, try to change it up. It's that answer. Do you know what I mean?
No, I don't. I know that from like my friends that have been on the show that are mediums themselves.
Yeah.
My one friend Katrina Cooper is a medium, spiritual medium, has been on the show, and she does the calls, and she's blown me away. Mm-hmm. And I've seen her go, well, that's what they're telling me, because she told me whatever first comes in, that's what she's sticking to, and it could be wrong. It can, and she's not God, she's not perfect, but she'll stick to it because that's how she does it. It's the first thing that comes in. That's what she's going to go with.
Yeah. And that's, and once it's like riding a bike, once you do it for a while, then you get used to it. So once you start communicating with your guardian angel, and you communicate with God the same way, we've lost our communication with spirit. Some people say spirit, some people say God, some people say, creator.
The force.
It's the same thing, though. I have communications with God every day. I ask questions and same principle. And then I listen, and it's the first thing that comes into my head. And, God wants to have a relationship with everybody. We're his children. That's our creator. And it's up to us to choose to have that conversation. And when we do and start to have a relationship, it changes you. And that's what I talk about in the book, is how important it is to connect with the divine first. And the earth too, like I said before, I talk about the earth energies. Mother Earth is a living entity. And we used to walk around with no shoes on and get all that really cool energy from her. And now we have shoes on, so we don't, how did that happen? And so now we have to, make an intent to actually connect with her, go outside more, spend more time in nature, spend more time with animals, that type of thing. And that changes you too. So it's a combination of things. It's connecting to the energies, all the different energies that are beneficial to us.
I agree. We have to spread that love and that energy. I want to adjust this here. Ricardo, not cool. I think you lost me because he's mad. I said I'd talk to a Satanist. Wouldn't you, as a pastor or minister, have a conversation? I would. I don't want to join the Satanist community. I don't want to see anybody be a Satanist, but I will have a conversation with them because I don't think you change the world by just not talking to people. I just don't. I just don't think you do. I think if you just shut those people out and say they're Satanists, they're evil, I think everybody's forgiven. I think everybody even then, it might be a long ways from now for them if they're Satanists. But, I'm not their judge, and I will have a conversation, understand their perspective. Not that I'm ever going to agree with it, ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when I say Satanists, there are people who believe they are part of the Church of Satan. They don't believe they're evil or doing evil. That's their thing. They look at it some messed up perspective. I'd like to try and understand it. I'm not going to bring somebody on here that's like sacrificing children. I'm not talking like that. I'm talking to somebody that thinks they're part of the Church of Satan, and I want to understand why.
Yeah, I think that they're just, you'd have to understand why. You'd have to.
Hey, I'm an Art Bell fan. That guy brought on witches that sacrifice children, according to them. You know what I'm saying? Art Bell did not shy away from anybody in an interview. And that's my mentor in this field, okay? And my biggest respect.
I know.
Right.
I know.
So I'm just living up to what Art Bell did. And he got a lot of Christians pissed at him too.
It's not even about that. I guess, I think it's great that you want to interview these people. But again, you know how the energy can affect you. So just be cool about that.
Oh, I know. Oh, trust me. I've had some people on here that I'm like, I get it. I get it. No, I have.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that I'm not striving to have a Satanist on my show. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying I'd be open to the conversation. And begrudgingly, it's not that I want to talk to a Satanist, but if I'm offered the challenge of it, I won't know if I could turn it down because my mentor wouldn't. The guy that I don't know him in real life, but I respected him and influenced me big time is Art Bell, and he would.
Yeah.
And so. I don't know. I might take that challenge. Just the same as I really don't want to waste my time talking to somebody who's a flat earther. But there's times I've considered. There's time I've considered it because they have a perspective, and let's have a not an argument, not a debate, just a conversation.
I've had Flat Earth Dave on my show several times.
Right.
And, and it's interesting. It's really interesting to listen to that different perspective. And you're exactly right. And there are people, it's so interesting to watch because there's a lot of people who you couldn't sway to go any other way, who just believe there is a flat earth. And then you have people who are like, there's absolutely no other way there is a flat earth. So it's really
I'm an absolute not a flat earther.
It's a real controversy. I
don't believe it at all. I think it,
really?
Not a good idea for me to say this if I'm talking about having a flat earther on the show, but I think it's stupid.
Do you? Why do you? Oh my God! Oh, you should have one on for sure.
Right, but I can't say I wouldn't say they're stupid. That'd be stupid.
Yeah,
I'm saying that. That's why I haven't had a flat earther because but it's a challenge. It's a challenge for me to let go of that. Let go. Who am I? Who am I to judge or know? I could be completely wrong, and this Earth is completely flat. I could be completely wrong. I'm willing to accept that.
You know what? I got to tell you, I'm really leaning towards the flat Earth.
Oh God.
Yes.
I have other people I know that do too. Not me.
Well, after you kind of look up some of the facts, you're like, oh, okay. And you look at the maps. I think that's what did it for me. I'll just tell you that, and then we'll get back to angels.
See, you already got my flat earther.
It was the maps, and you can see the maps, and you can see Antarctica, and you can see all the ice. So look at the maps, and it'll change how you look at this.
If the Earth is flat, then we are in the simulation. This isn't real. Nothing's real here. This is complete simulation.
I think we're in a dome. I really think we're in a dome because if you look in the Bible, at the very beginning of the Bible, it says we're in the firmament. And so I believe we're in a dome. I really do. That's what I think.
The reason I don't believe it is because I can, everything would have to be faked. Everything's faked. Everything's fake. It would just be, it's just to me, there's so much things that have happened that to me prove that the world's not flat. To me, in my opinion, because satellites have to work, things have to work, technology is working, have to all revolve around everybody knowing that the Earth is round. If the Earth was flat, how does any of these work? Satellites are just going around the fake flat Earth, the fake round Earth, and it's all flat. What are they going around? Who's making? It's all fake. Then there's no satellites. So where am I getting my signal? You know what I'm saying? There's just so many things to me that it's just I can't wrap my brain around the idea that the Earth would be flat. It just the science and history of everything.
It's a whole nother conversation. It
is. But that's the thing. It's a conversation people should have. People have these beliefs. Why do people have a belief in the flat Earth? Because they don't trust what they've been told for hundreds of years. Why? Because there's too many lies now that have been told about things.
Yeah.
So now people are questioning everything.
Everything.
And I don't judge anybody. I don't judge you for thinking the Earth is flat.
Mm-hmm.
you have a reason to question your reality. I don't judge somebody who thinks we live in a matrix. You have a reason to question your reality.
Yeah, I think it's a possibility. I just think that, yeah, you're correct, that there's so many, we have been told so many lies that now, yes, people are questioning everything, which is a good thing, actually, that we're questioning.
I do. That's what I think. That's why, as I said, we have to have the conversations.
Mhm.
I know people get pissed when I say, oh, I have a Satanist on here. Well, I want to know what turned them to think I should join something on the out front set is inherently thought of as evil. Maybe you've come to some realization you think it's not evil, it's just this enlightening thing. I know that's where a lot of people go with the whole Satanist route. I'll have that conversation with somebody. I don't agree with them. I completely disagree. But that's something we have to be able to talk, Yeah, we have to be able to have these conversations. You don't. Jesus sat down with sinners. You know what I'm saying? Like he sat down with prostitutes and thieves, and he didn't shut them out. And they're saying we have to have the conversations, as difficult as they are.
Yeah,
and we can disagree. We have to learn how to disagree with each other. That's the thing. You're starting to lean towards the earth is flat. I think it's completely silly, but I understand why people question their reality and start thinking the earth is flat, because we've been lied to about a billion different things over our last hundreds of years. Our human history we've been lied to.
Yeah.
They cover things up. I mean, we've talked about it immensely on this show. So there's a reason for you to question reality. And I'm willing to admit there could be I might join the flat earth team one day. Who knows? Anything's possible. I really don't think so, but it's possible because I'm aware well enough to know that I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'll bleep that. I don't know. I'm self-bleeping because who am I? I don't know. I could be wrong. I've never been to space. I've never gone to the edge of the earth if there's a flat earth. I really don't know. I've been in Michigan City, Indiana most of my life. Who am I? Who the frick am I? I don't know. I could be wrong. I just know what I've been told in science and that stuff, and I'm going to go with it for now. That's how I am. And when it comes to it's just the same thing with religion. You can be a religious person, you can be Christian. I highly respect that. I'm told I'm not. I just was told I was not in the chat room. I don't respect religion. I don't respect dogma. I don't respect, authoritarian religion. I don't expect people that try to, or religion that says, "Give me your money to the church," that kind of stuff. That's when But spirituality, people are deeply Christian and believe in their faith. I highly respect that, and it's just the same as somebody highly, is a Buddhist or a Hindu or an Islam that deeply has something more, something that is bigger than themselves that they believe in. They're searching just like me and you. And I don't judge them or think they could be right about their religion. I could be wrong about my ideas. I don't know what's going on. Answer's 42. I don't know. I'm just saying, people, open your minds, open your hearts to people. Somebody you think is a Satanist, Satan. Well, lead by example. Give them peace. Show them what it's like to be a good Christian or Buddhist or whatever, or just a good person. You don't have to be a Satanist. I'm just saying that's my deal. You can rag on me all you want or unsubscribe from the show. I don't care.
I think religion's on its way out, to be honest with you.
I hope spirituality is in. And when I say spirituality, I don't mean like the New Age stuff and Wicca and all that. You can do that. And my wife's a Wicca. I'm saying I want to see people, whatever road or path, dharma you choose, many doors, as long as you're on the journey. I'm good. I hope everybody does that. I hope everybody opens their minds and their hearts and starts asking inner reflection in religion. You don't need a religious or a church to tell you, is what I'm saying.
I agree.
As long as you're going on the journey.
Right. There you go.
I'm sorry. I went off a little bit on my chat room. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not mad at you, Ricardo. I'm just telling you how it is. I'm just telling you how it is. Don't be mad at me for wanting to have a conversation with anybody. I'd have a conversation with Hitler. I'm just saying, I would. I think he's the ultimate evil. But I'd want to know. I want to know what made him tick. I'd have a conversation with him. And I'd disagree with him and probably get in an argument with Hitler, and he'd want to gas me.
You think Hillary would tell you the truth?
No. Maybe. I don't know.
No, she wouldn't.
No. None of these people tell you the truth.
No.
That's the problem. That's why we're here questioning if the earth's flat. You know what I'm saying? Because, there's a lot of lies. And there's been a lot of lies within your religions.
Right.
Within Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism. They've all had what? Humans involved in those religions. Not
Well,
God, not
it's all been
Buddha.
yeah, it's been a control thing, but that's why I think religions are on their way out, because people should just, connect directly themselves. They don't need a priest or somebody to tell them how they should live or how they should connect. I mean, we have our, we have our spiritual laws in our book right here. We know what's going on.
Yeah, I agree. You know,
It's true.
you know, I go to the church. What's happening now? I used to have an aunt say, you know, I go to the church. What's happening now? And live in the now, people. That's what I try to. I think what we should learn. That should be definitely a golden rule in there. And treat others how you want to be treated. That's what I'm saying. So if you want somebody to be nice to you, even though they disagree with you, well, be nice to them. You got to lead by example. Just saying.
Well,
Just
it's
saying.
whatever energy you put out is what you get back.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
if you're, nice and decent, then that's what you're going to receive back. But if you're angry and harsh, then that's what you'll get back. And people, I think, are starting to realize how the energy works and how the universe works and how the energy flows. And, what we think and what we say and what we feel goes out into the universe, and the universe responds accordingly. So
You think that's probably the biggest hindrance to the angels communicating with people is their own energy, right? I mean, I hear mediums say they have to get up to a higher state to communicate with like the loved ones and the angels and the guides. You have to get yourself into that vibration and that state. Well, many people are not in that state or vibration. They're in very low vibrations. So it's
Right.
probably really hard for those angels to get through to them.
I think that I never really thought about that, but I think as long as your intention is pure and you are asking with pure intent of your angel, then I believe that you can communicate very well with them. I think it's all about pure intent. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, intent is everything, right?
Mhm.
Good
Yeah.
intentions can pave the way to hell, but
My
I'm saying, but
grandma used to say that. The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
intentions. That's it.
Yeah, my grandma used to say that.
It's because it's wise. Because you can have good intentions to do bad things.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, if it's all about, yeah, anybody can communicate with their angel, even if you're not on a high vibration. I mean, you have your angels with you for a reason to guide you. They're spirits messengers. They're here for guidance.
I think for people that are, they're in dark, hard places, that light's hard to find.
It is, and that's true. That's absolutely true. A lot of times you got to hit bottom and then you start looking for the light. And like, you talked about when you were laying in bed and you were in a really bad spot and you called out for God. It takes that for a lot of people.
You called it a gift, and at the time I didn't look at it that way, but now I do.
Right. And I look at it like same for me. I went through a really awful divorce and really just was like to a point where, okay, God, what do you want me to do here? And just you give yourself to God. You're like, okay, I'm here. What do you want? What can we do? How can we make this better? And you start to listen to the messages and you start to connect, and then it starts to change you. And you realize that, things aren't so bad because you have the love of the divine.
It's something there helping guide you and
Well,
a
it's
partner in
love.
this life.
It's love.
Yeah.
It's the love of the divine. That's what gets me through every day is the love of God. Yes.
Well, like I said, when you have a kid, that it's like a lesson in that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
of being a parent and understanding what unconditional love really is.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a lesson and a little peek into the relationship we're trying to have with God. Oh, what did Adrian ask?
I was trying to see what she said. What would the Hindu gods be considered angels? Well, yeah, there are thousands, right? I think angels are angels. I don't know.
Or aliens. I think they were aliens.
I don't know how to answer that. I just think they're all God's helpers, and doesn't matter.
In a sense, aliens, angels, tomatoes. What are we talking about here? Ultra terrestrials,
Higher vibrational beings.
Higher vibration. We're talking about
loving entities.
Right. Call it an angel. Call it an alien. Call it a ultra terrestrial. You know, that there's things that exist way beyond our existence here that are influencing us and a part of our lives. That's what we're getting at here. It's, you know, angel communication. You can call them angels. Some people call them different things. Some people it's Hindu gods. Some people it's, I don't know. You know, that's the thing. Yeah, people, there's something that's been contacting people and a guide to us, and for thousands of years, people have written thousands of experiences, of billions of experiences of something interacting from another realm with them. We have religions because of it. I mean, you have religions shared. Islam, Judaism, and Christianity share the same angels. You know what I'm saying? They share a lot of the same backstory.
They sure do. Yeah, that's true. Well, Gabriel came down and he spoke with Mary when she was going to have Jesus. So this goes back, you know, to the very beginning where, the angels were the messenger. Gabriel was the messenger. He came in and said, God, you know, is going to, you know, put a seed. You're going to have a baby and you're going to name him Jesus. So the angel was the messenger. Same thing. It's just here we are. We've kind of forgotten, and maybe we used to see him and now we don't. I don't know why we don't see him like we used to. But Mary saw the angel when the angel came down and spoke to her. And then remember in the Bible, Joseph is like, well, wait a minute, she's pregnant. How did she get pregnant? And then the angel comes to him and he says, you know, don't be afraid. This is, you know, our Father. This is going to be your son, and his name is Jesus. So all of this, you know, angels came to be the messenger and to relieve them of any kind of, you know, anguish.
Well, Joseph really needed that message from Gabriel because he was in a very precarious situation.
Well, yeah, think about that. Think about that. I mean, seriously, you know, I mean, we just had Christmas. We just had the holy, you know, but the angels always brought the messages and always brought comfort and joy, you know, and I think society has forgotten it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. But if you go back to angels, like I said, they're not like the descriptions later, you know, of wings or all that stuff. But the angels of the Old Testament were involved in some bad stuff. You know, you have you have Sodom and Gomorrah. You know, they save Lot and his family and all that, but a whole city of people are being blown away. There's a lot of stuff in the Old Testament. I don't know if it's angels. I'm really a big idea that it's aliens. That's my idea.
I don't know.
Tomato, ultra-terrestrial alien. I don't know. That's my feelings on it. But like I said, who am I? I have no idea.
I know. A lot of people wrote it and they took parts out.
All right, we're going to go to our last commercial break. We only have like less than a half hour left, guys. When we come back, we'll reopen up the phone lines. You can call in if you want to join this conversation at the end here with our guest tonight, Nancy Yearout, author of A Guide to Angel Communication and Its Spiritual Laws, an angel's connection to God, when we come back from the short commercial break.
Intercepted transmission of unknown origin.
Transmission? Out here?
SOS.
Human.
Unknown.
Alien. Certificate X. Exclusive engagement at the Odeon Leicester Square. Now.
Any systematized transmission indicating a possible intelligent origin must be investigated.
I will hear all this.
In space, no one can hear you scream.
If you are interested in discovering the truth about the paranormal and want to hear from leading researchers in the field, join Justin Brown on his 3 weekly shows named My Paranormal Soapbox, Necromancer Live Show, and the Supernatural Symposium, live on Facebook, YouTube, and InterfaceDeath.net.
This is an APAC studio presentation.
Hi, I'm Barry, owner-operator of Barry's Barometer Barn.
Lately, I bet you've been lying awake at night asking yourself, how many barometers do I really need? Well, at Barry's Barometer Barn, we think you need more than one. Otherwise, we're gonna go out of business. Remember, at Barry's Barometer Barn, we don't know the meaning of high-pressure sales. Come on, folks, buy another barometer. I'm trying to put my kids through college, I've got a family to support, and a secret mistress who isn't cheap.
Visit Barry's Barometer Barn, 000 Storm Drive. Come on, folks, buy a barometer. I'm Barry's older brother, Larry, and every time one of you people walk past the store without coming in, Barry beats me.
This has been a presentation from Tim Morgan's APAC Studio. For more almost professional amateur comic studio content, visit the APAC YouTube channel. Search APAC 2002. That's APAC 2002 on YouTube.
When Alex Gardner is asleep, he has an extraordinary gift. The government wants it, the scientists want it, but to keep it may cost him his life. It might be better if Alex didn't sleep at all, but he cannot resist entering the dreamscape. Can you? See Dreamscape in the West End and all over London now. Certificate 15. It takes an extraordinary adventurer to enter the dreamscape.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from Talkstream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday at the live stream with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do Voices from Beyond, the Cold Case Files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Heat 'em up. Do, re, be gone.
You're listening to Paranormal Soup, bringing you the weird every Sunday night. Call into the show and join the discussion. The call-in lines are 219-230-4444 or 260-225-9419 or by Skype caller ID OOJBland00 or JBland Paranormal Soup. And now to your host, Jason Bland.
Tonight's guest is Nancy Yearout. We're talking about her book, A Guide to Angel Communications and Spiritual Laws, An Angel's Connection to God. She's a great guest. She's a psychic, an empath. She wants you to connect to the angels yourselves, and that's what her book's about and we've been talking about tonight. Our phone lines are now open. If you want to call in, join the last. We have a little less than a half hour left of the show if you want to call in and talk to our guests. Otherwise, we'll keep talking. I'll see who else I can piss off tonight. That's what we do. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about this hatiness thing. I'm sorry. I'm just one of those guys. I will have a conversation with about anybody. I'm a gab guy. That's how I am. Call in, yell at me. I don't care. Let's go ahead and get back to our guests. Nancy, thanks for hanging on here with the craziness tonight.
No problem. It's been fun. It's been fun.
So I try to keep it. I like to have fun. I like to joke about these things. I know some people take it very seriously. I do, deep down. I do. I really
you
do.
can't take life too seriously.
But you gotta laugh. My grandfather, who had a estranged relation with, had dementia for 2 years. And I know I've told one of these stories a billion times on the show, but I'll never, it has always stuck with me that his last words after not speaking for 2 years with dementia were "Life's a joke." That was his last words, according to my aunt. And it stuck with me. When I heard that, it stuck with me, and he laughed and said, "Life's a joke," and he died 2 hours later. He hadn't talked in 2 years. And it's just, what did he mean? And I feel like I had a connection with him after he died, too. I had like a guided meditation thing. I was doing really into meditation. I have been, and I get it back and forth. But at the time when he died, I was, looking for answers, and I went on a guided meditation, and I felt like I had this like connection with him on the other side. It was really, really awesome.
Cool.
And he's come through through other mediums at times. It's somebody we had an estranged relationship. But I always wondered, life's a joke, and he laughed because he had a lot of trauma in his life, a lot of hardships, and just to make that his final words is just, I guess I'll find out when it's my time what he meant by it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I just feel like when we go, we're free. We're free of all the
right. I hope that is.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We're free of all that.
It seems like that too. When you hear people talk about their near-death experiences.
Mm-hmm.
They like I said, they see their body broken and they're like, oh, like they're not even emotionally like panicking or freaking out. They're in a peaceful, calm state even in that moment.
Yeah.
I've heard that so many times now from near-death experiences.
Yeah, no,
I've always fascinated by them.
What's always fascinated me about the people that I've had on my show that I've interviewed that have had near-death experiences is the prayers that I've had 2 different people come on my show that said they saw prayers going up.
Yeah, I've heard this before too.
Like sticky notes, and I just want to say that because it's so important that people know that their prayers are heard, because they are. And when you have someone that's had a near-death experience, more than one person say that the prayers are going up and that you're seeing them actually go up and that they're being received. I mean, that to me is just amazing. And it just, gives you hope that your prayers,
Oh yeah. To pray is to humble yourself.
Yeah. And to pray for more, remember that part too. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but when you pray with 2 or more, it's, and Jesus says that.
Right.
If you really want
Holy Spirit is there.
Yeah. You've got to have someone else, to pray with you. I think that's so powerful. I think that's what was meant. Well, actually, let's go back to the organizer listen thing here real quick. That's what they meant when they were doing the congregation thing. Right. I mean, that was the intent. I believe that, more than one person praying. I mean, think when a group prays for something, when somebody's sick and you have a group pray, it's so powerful. It really is that powerful. And I think that was the intention when, churches were brought together for that reason.
I think there's plenty. I think there are a lot of Christian churches out there that have that. They have. I've seen it. They have a great community. It's the compassion and love. They don't judge anybody. They let anybody into their doors, and they're there for the community. They're there for their congregation. The pastors are, that are involved are, there's no judge. Yes, they're Christian. They have their beliefs. They're not going to do certain things or believe in certain things, whatever. They're not that open, But I've seen Methodists and I've seen a lot of, the very open churches. They're trying to, but sometimes they're like that, and there's just still nothing spiritually going on. You know what I'm saying? Like they got the community, the people, but it's like we got to go further.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm with you. Well, and I think maybe like you, I don't know what your experiences have been, but my experience, I really got disillusioned with the churches. I went to different churches, and just at the time I was working, I was a real estate broker and I was single, and I would go, and even when I wasn't single, I have to say, and it was all about, well, what can you contribute to the church and what can you give? It was never about what can we do for you, or let's talk about your connection with God. You know, I feel like God was always taken out of it, or spirit, whatever you want to say, you know, whatever verbiage makes you more comfortable. But that's what we got to get back to. And that's why I wrote this book. Everybody that came on my show, I've interviewed over 400 people, I'll tell you this. And it always comes back to connection. It always comes back to that. I don't care whether they're a Reiki person, whether they're a medium, it doesn't matter. It's all about connecting. It's true.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah.
I always say being in this, doing this show, being in this field, this interest, and people that know this about me will tell me their stories, like, and, I get the haunted house stories a lot, or I saw a UFO or stuff like that. But the ones I get the most, and I say it 100 times I know on the show, but the ones I cherish the most are the one they tell me. And I think this is the most common experience for people, is when somebody's died and that loved one comes to them in some special way afterwards, showing them that they're all right. And I've had that experience personally.
Yeah,
and when somebody shares that experience, it's something usually a lot of times they're not talked about paranormal stuff. They're not into that, but they've had this experience and they open up to me, and they don't tell this experience to anybody else hardly. I'm not a family member. I'm just somebody they know is open to it, and they tell it, and I feel so honored when they that's a connection to me when we share in these. It's like a spiritual experience, because you just had a loved one's love so powerful come through, and I've had this come through to show you they're all right. That's love. That's pure love right there. Crossing the boundaries of death to come across to show you, hey, I'm still here. We're not separated. I'm all right. I think that's when people tell me those stories. I've had a lot of them told me. I love them more than any of the paranormal stories I ever get. And I get crazy when people, and I love them, but when I get those, I feel so honored. I feel like I've shared something special with that person.
Yeah, well, because it is something special, like truly. When I saw my dad leave, I will never forget
that. Exactly.
I will never forget it. It's etched in my mind. It was comforting because I knew he was okay. But the worst part of it was when I told my mom. I had a narcissistic mom. She's no longer with us, but she didn't believe me. And that's hard, because you're like so excited, you want to tell everybody, oh my God, I saw him. But there are the people who don't believe. So that's hard too,
Is your mom still with us?
No.
Did she try to connect with you after her passing?
No.
My
dad is with me all the time.
Right. So that's the thing. People, when we get into reincarnation, I don't know what your thoughts are on this.
Oh, well,
I think the hardest pill to people to swallow is they have. I talked about my son. He told my wife when he was 3 that he chose us. I saw him before he was born. I believe we do choose our parents.
Absolutely.
And that's easy for me to say because my parents are awesome. At least my mom and my stepdad are awesome. My biological dad was an a-hole, didn't want anything to do with me. So I chose that, right? And actually my past life of me being beaten to death as a little girl, in that I knew in my mind in that moment that one is the same biological father I have here. And that's why he had wanted nothing to do with me. That was a revelation in that dream.
Okay.
As deep as that is, I had all that knowing smashed into this one very vivid dream where I die.
Okay.
I knew this was the same soul of the biological father I had here now. It would explain a lot why maybe unconsciously he didn't want anything to be near me because of guilt or something. I don't know.
Right.
But I think the hardest
into the next lifetime. Yeah.
Right. But I think the hardest pill for people to swallow, especially if they've had difficult childhoods with parents that weren't so great, is that they chose that.
Yeah.
Or that they chose this life. I think that's a hard pill for people to swallow, but I think it's the truth.
No, it is. Yeah. I'll tell you really quickly. I agree with you wholeheartedly. My mom was a narcissist, and she was my best teacher. I do believe I chose my parents. My dad was absolutely wonderful. My mom was absolutely horrible and difficult. She was like Cruella de Vil. That's how bad she was.
Yeah.
And even towards the end, you know, she was awful. I thought when she got older, she would be nicer, but she wasn't. She never hugged me. She was never compassionate. I would wait for my dad to come home to hug me at night. I would sit there. I can remember being a kid and watching out the picture window in our living room waiting
And
for
your
my
dad
dad.
was very compassionate,
Oh
hugging.
yeah,
Loving.
he was wonderful.
So like you had light
My
and dark
mom,
in your life.
yeah, I did. And so, but now I look at it like it was such a blessing because
Right.
she taught me how not to be.
Right.
First of all,
I've seen that with kids.
yeah, she taught me how not to be. So I learned that. And I have compassion for her because she didn't have that love of God that I
Right.
have. And if it wasn't for her, again, she helped catapult me to where I am today. Does that make
I
sense?
see. No, it makes complete sense because I see
Mhm.
it. I've seen kids that have grown up with parents. I'm like, how is this kid so great?
Mhm.
How is this kid so great? You know, like,
Their
because
parents were jerks, yeah.
their parents are jerks, but this kid is great. They're compassionate. I've seen many examples of that, and I think it's because the kid grew up and it's like, I'm not going to be that. I've had to
Right.
live with that, and I'm not going to be that. I'm going to do different. You know, and to me, it shows that in the end, no matter what our upbringing is or what we chose to come in here, if we chose it or not,
Yeah.
we chose. We choose.
Oh,
We
we do.
choose what we came in for, and we choose how we're going to react to it and what we're going to do with it.
Yeah. It's not easy, is it? It hasn't been easy for me, I'll tell you that. But I am such a better person because of all the experiences that I've been through in my life.
Right.
You know,
And
it's changed. Yeah. And so I'm not angry at her. I've forgiven her. I actually feel sorry for her because she's probably up there really having to learn a lot of lessons. Because I believe,
that she missed out on a lot of
And
opportunities.
I think a lot of this is our lessons that we have to gain before we move on to the next step, learning these types of empathy and compassion and just how to fight through it.
Exactly. Yeah, I could have been angry and hateful towards her. But I'm not. Like, even towards the end, she made sure I didn't get anything like of hers personally. Like, I got part of the house of my mom and dad's, and all the contents, she made sure I didn't get anything of hers. But the crazy thing was, I didn't want anything of hers. Isn't that the craziest part?
Yeah.
I didn't, and I really
Because it's
felt
memories.
correct, and they weren't good memories. But
Right. That's
the thing,
sad.
yeah, but the cool thing is that I did get to see my dad, and he's with me. He's one of my spirit guides, and I have a sister also who passed. My oldest sister died of leukemia. And yeah, and so she is one of my spirit guides too, and she's with me all the time. So it's really interesting. I feel
I had
close.
another guest like that, Jamie.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
I had another guest that had a sister who died of cancer and is their guide. They're very close on the other side. Who was that? I can't remember. It's
I'm
like your
closer
story.
to
I'm like,
her now than I was
right.
before. Yeah. Isn't that weird?
I'm sorry if the guest watches this and I forgot their name, who it was. I've had so many different experiences and stories on here, but it just is like exactly like that.
Does she come to you in dreams also, or?
She's just around me all the time. Like, I know she's here. She sang. She was a singer and she played the piano. And so I'll know I just know I can feel her energy, but I also, like, if a song will come into my head, I know it's her. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. So she's musical. I'm more, but she's always with me and she really watches over me. And I've had other psychics tell me they see her too. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to mention, Yvette here, my best friend came to me in a dream after he died. Believe it, Yvette. I think they do. I think a lot of times they do come to us in our dreams. I've had that experience. I know lots of people have. It's when we're probably the most open to that experience. I recommend to people, if you really want to try to have a conversation with your loved one before you go to sleep, say it. Say it out loud. Say, you can come to me in my dream. Give them permission.
Yeah.
To come to you. I think it works. I really do.
No, it does work. And they hear us, they hear us. My other sister died too, and just last couple years. Yeah, it's really weird, huh? And I was not that close to her towards the end, but again, I felt kind of, how can I say this? Sad for her because she didn't learn the lessons here on earth that I knew that she could have. How can I say this? She had blinders on. She just didn't want to see. And it's interesting when you become more spiritual and you can see these things in other people. It's really difficult sometimes, especially in your family members. You're like, gosh, I just wanted to help them or teach them or show them, but they don't.
They're on their own path.
Start.
Yeah.
You want to stop them from walking in front of it.
But there's nothing.
Or rocking off the cliff.
Exactly. But there's nothing you can do. We all have to, experience it ourselves. You can't help another person unless they want to be helped. And you can't change other people. You can only be an example. I've learned this, and you can only
pieces every step.
Yeah, you just talk about it. Like
when everybody's in their own step of their journey.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not hateful or harsh or anything like that. I'm actually sad that, they were the way they were. It was kind of a strange thing,
You didn't get to have the connection with them.
Yeah, it's just
that's
really
the love, right? We were disconnected from them.
Yeah, exactly. My dad is with me, and my mom, completely disconnect. Yeah, strange, really strange.
Yeah, but didn't you have people in your lives that are not blood?
That are
in your lives.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's why I believe there's the synchronicity, the life, and the spirits working together. You know what I'm saying? That bring people together like this. Me and Jamie and Rob, we brought together from doing this show. I don't have a lot of people I consider friends. And I have a lot of acquaintances on the internet, but I consider them two friends. And if anything that's come from the show is making friends with them. And a lot of people I've met in doing this show that are, Ziriana, Adrian, Zach. I haven't seen Zach in a long time.
Soul group.
Yeah, it's a big soul group. Exactly. Perfect, Jamie.
That's awesome.
I believe in the soul group thing. I've had a lot of mediums talk about that.
How long you guys been doing this together?
10 years.
Wow. That's a long time.
About 10 years.
That's awesome. And see how close.
We're 2025. We started in 2015.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
May will be is it May is the 10-year anniversary? Sometime in May?
I think it
May?
might be.
I think it
He's
is.
going to have some kind of celebration or something really cool.
Yeah, I've skipped some anniversaries. 8 years, who cares? Saying but maybe we should do something for the 10th. I got to look at I always forget to figure out when the actual anniversary is or when it falls or, close to it because we're always Sunday night of the first show. But yeah, we should do a 10-year show. We definitely
how did y'all get together and decide that you were going to do this?
Well, I was already doing it. I decided I wanted to, like I said, have a forum, a place. We were doing instrumental transcommunication, ITC, Spirit Box, Spirit Apps, trying to communicate with, and I wanted to have call line ins. I wanted to do a show, but part of that show, I wanted to also do some, see if people could call in and talk to the spirit world.
Yeah.
Through these devices. Let's see what happens. I really didn't think anything was going to happen.
Oh, okay.
But my mind's been blown on that over the last 10 years.
He was at work. We were in an ITC group together, and he wanted to put up a poll for the Godfathers of ITC. And he's like, I'm at work, I'm rushing. Can you help me put up this poll, this and that? So I helped him put up the poll to see what he's gonna do next for ITC, which Godfather of ITC. And so then after that, there was something else he needed help with, and I just started kind of helping him out, and we started talking and had a lot in common and just started coming on the show with him.
That's
awesome. And she's all the way in California, I'm in Indiana. We would have never met if it wasn't for that, right?
Great. Yeah, that's so. Well, it's true. You meet a lot of people through doing these shows and stuff like that, and you become
human
friends.
Connection.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, exactly.
That's why I like having you on. Like I said, I don't want to just read some questions and have you talk. I want to have a conversation. I want to get to know you. This little time we got together. This is why I do it, because I like to be able to talk with people who have open minds and want to talk about the things that I think should fascinate everyone. People are all obsessed with the Kardashians. I know they're probably old news now. That's how old sound I am. But people are obsessed with social media influencers and stuff like that. I'm like, who gives a crap about any of this stuff?
I think
there's a big world out there.
Down. I think the stars. I think people are over it. People.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was very clear. That was very clear this last. I'm not in politics, but it was very clear this last election. Millions and millions and millions of Democrat dollars were spent on getting celebrity endorsements, and the American people said, "F you. I don't care about what Beyonce says."
Well,
and I'm all for that.
Yeah, I am too. And even she went out and did this big show, the football show she just did.
Yeah.
Beyonce did. And I don't know. I think people.
It's the same as why I don't give a crap that Hulk Hogan supports Trump and rips his shirts off. I don't give a crap about him either. I don't give a crap what any celebrity says about anything on politics. They're actors or musicians. They're me and you. They have their talents. They do. We all have our opinions. They're like a-holes. We all got them.
Right, but why are they getting paid all this money? I think we need to
their opinions aren't even true.
I
right?
know.
Their opinions aren't even true if they're having to be paid for it. Okay.
That's
I think that's a simple concept for people.
There you go. See, that's the change that I'm seeing that I really like.
We make them false idols, and I think that's one big thing that, if anything, I'm not a big fan of the Old Testament, but the Old Testament does try to teach you not to worship false idols, and I don't think you should worship any idols of any kind. Just the love, communication with the higher realm of yourself and God. There you go.
Yeah.
Not a worship, a connection.
Yeah, we got to change this whole everything, the way everything's going, the way society is. Everything's got to do a complete 180, and it's getting there. I mean, people are starting to see it. They're, starting to realize that it's not the material stuff anymore that makes you happy. That was one thing with my mom. I'll tell you this, it's kind of a sad thing, but she collected glassware. And when she died, she had so much glassware. And, I'm thinking, why? How did that fill her up on the inside? How did all that material stuff? And it didn't.
Have you ever seen the movie Fight Club?
She just kept buying it, but never getting satisfied.
Exactly. That's my point. That's
one of the premises of Fight Club. Edward Norton starts this Fight Club. He's a bit crazy. Well, I won't give plot away if you've never seen Fight Club, even though it's way old. But he has this moment where he's talking about, like, everybody's trying to fill this void inside with materialistic things most of the time, or relationships too. Like, that person's going to make me better. They're going to make me
I'll be happy if I'm with
that Ferrari is going to make me have a bigger penis size in women's eyes. And make me feel whole. Right, and it just, like, none of those things are going to make you whole, and your partner's not. They're just going to make
it all comes from inside.
Yeah. And I think that's what we all have to get to. Honestly,
I agree.
I'm working on myself. I mean, it really took a lot. I've worked on my inner child. I used to laugh at people when they said inner child. I used to make fun of it. And then I was like, oh, I guess I better do that. But
I know I know there's a little me that's different than the big me now, but it's still me.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. We have to work on, different programming. I've been working on my programming, and a lot of the stuff that would come out of my mouth, I'm like, oh, I wouldn't say that. That was my mom, or that was, my dad. I would never say that. Yeah.
Well, that's society.
Yeah.
And not doing the knee-jerk reactions, like learning to sleep on it, just think about it, wait. Maybe they didn't mean it that way. Just don't react right away. Give some time.
I'm trying to teach my sons that.
That comes with time, with maturity.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. But I've seen plenty of grown adults, old people, still not have it.
Yeah, true. That's true.
They never have it. They just react. And I'm trying to teach my sons not to do that. I said, if you're angry or mad, whatever decision you're about to make in that state is going to be a stupid one.
Well, I'm trying to teach myself that more.
Yeah. Oh, no, I have to learn that too. I'm still learning that lesson every day.
Well, you guys, I have to tell you, I'm going to go back to the same thing. When I finally learned it is when I started connecting more and more. And it, for some reason, I'll just say, it calmed me down. It changed me, and it made me less reactive. That energy changed me. I will tell you, because I was the same way. So that's the only thing I can tell you from personal experience, I'm not
but that's what will change the world when people start getting into more of that mindset. When they start getting, I'm not going to react to this this right now. I'm going to step back. What's going on? Why am I angry? Where's that feeling come from? Like inner reflection. Don't let people control you by making you angry or fearful.
Well,
anger and fear.
Let me take it a step further, and then I know we got to get out of here in a minute. But when you can see that it's coming from a place of fear, you know, when you can see that where it's coming from and realize that it has nothing to do with you and it's about that person, that's when things are going to change. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying is, you know, if you make a decision because somebody did something and now you're angry and you're going to do something back, that's usually a dumb decision.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Usually it's going to be a negative outcome either, you know. But if you can be the better person, let go, you know, you see it. Like I said, my biggest thing I work on is just stop judging others. And I'm guilty as anybody else on that.
Yeah.
But I'm working on it. I'm always working on it. It's a constant work. You know, I catch myself judging somebody else. I'm like, who are you? Who am I to judge them?
Yeah. I catch myself every once in a while too, but that's something I've really worked on is judging other people because I don't want to be judged, you know?
Right. Again, right. Pieces ever said, golden rule, treat others as you. Even if it's silent judgment, I shame myself for the silent judgment.
Right. In your head, you're like, oh, I shouldn't be judging
that
person. Yeah. I'm with you.
You know, who the heck are you?
Right.
You know, that's why people were tonight pissed off about me talking about Satanist. You got to understand, I'm a huge fan of Jesus Christ in the New Testament. A huge fan. Because I'm not going to get into anything else religious wise, but I think if you just take the New Testament and what Jesus is trying to tell you how to live and what to be, you're going to be good. And I think I've seen that with many Christians that lives like it doesn't matter what the big answers are or what's going on or Jesus is the Son of God, whatever. If it is what gets you to that state, that mental state of peace and calm, and you humble and believe in something bigger than yourself, beautiful.
Yeah.
I think it's spiritual, and I think it's the path you should be on. And I don't want to dissuade anybody from that.
I agree.
But thank you so much. So, website, Nancy, your first name, last name.com. Nancy Yearout.
Yearout.com.
Jamie's been sharing it in the chat for people.
Yeah.
And then you have a podcast or a YouTube channel?
I have a podcast and a YouTube channel, High Road to Humanity.
High Road to Humanity. People, check it out. Follow, subscribe. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to YouTube too, man. We need your help. Patreon, YouTube, Super Chat. Bills are going up. I'm just saying, people, you want to help pay for the show. We need your help. Shameless plug. Nancy, thank you so much tonight. We definitely would love to have you on again. I love talking to you.
Thank you. It was really nice meeting you both.
Well, that's it for the show, guys. Next Sunday, like I previewed earlier, and I know people get mad. I know people got mad at her, but one of my all-time favorite guests, Dr. Heather Lynn, archaeologist, is going to talk about Baphomet Revealed. And it's not like she's saying we're going to be talking about Baphomet in some satanic way. We're talking about the history, Knights Templar. Where did it come from? Why people worship this? What's it about? This is from an archaeologist. I love. Great guest, Heather Lynn. Check her out. We've had her on the show before. Next Sunday, same bad time, same bad channel, 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Pacific time. Don't forget to follow and subscribe on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. Share with your friends. Thank you. Heather Wood, you're awesome. You always share out the show. Thank you. Keep sharing the show. Tell your friends where the weird happens live every Sunday night. And don't forget Patreon. It's in the link of the description of the show. If you want to donate $1 a month, $2 a month, it does help pay the bills with the show. Thank you guys. Have a great night. See you next week.